Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second round of the SRP Top Step V8 Championship. My name is Robert Wiesemüller, and once again I'm joined today by Mr. Mike Bell.
Hello.
So, second round, and we're here at Ruapuna in New Zealand for two 90-kilometer sprint races. And we've seen the first race at Fuji, a longer race, a 200-kilometer race. So this might be a nice change, and we will see lots of action today, I think.
Yeah, hopefully. The race we have today is less than half the distance of Fuji, but we have two of them back to back. So the strategy will obviously be different, and the tyres may last the full race distance this time.
So far we have 32 cars on the server, and we're expecting a few more, so we can provide you lots of action. But first, let's look back at the last event at Fuji. We had Eric Strane winning the race, and it was quite a it was a race. Strategy was the most important element, with Jesper Torborg who finished second on a one-stop strategy. And I think when we take a look at the point standings now, we can also see it. Strane first with 50 points, and Jesper Torborg in second on 40 points. In general, of course, after only one round, the field is still relatively close together. So Mike, what did you think of the first round?
I thought the first round was very interesting. There was a good mix of strategy. 4 guys, 5 guys or so that at points looked like they could win the race, and the result was very good from some people.
Yeah, I think we can take a look at the Teams Championship as well. And there we should see that Ice Cold Racing is leading at the moment, ahead of THR. Still looks pretty close as well. But we also have a few driver changes for this round. You won't see only the same guys that were battling for the win at Fuji, but we also have got quite a few new, really fast guys. Maybe we can have a look at the grid for this race. We had a few last-minute changes as well, so it's not 100% accurate what you see at the moment. But the biggest news is Jesper Torborg has left THR after one race, and he drives for YTF1 this round. YTF1. In the last race they had only one car, and now with Jesper Torborg they get one of the best drivers they could possibly get into their car. His THR seat is being filled by Adrian Holm, who's very, very fast and passes in pre-practice so far on Ruapuna. Then also we have got William Levesque, multiple world record holder on iRacing, returns to R-Factor for this event for Magenta Warriors, a team which has 0 points so far, so that will be very interesting to see. Then we also got quite a few other new drivers, for example Niklas Falk in Ice Cold replacing Eric Dwight last minute. We got George Manusakis in the second of the Greek Virtual Racing Holdens in this event. And I think we also got Jonathan Ockerklint in this race, an SRP regular, a league organizer at Sim Racing Pro, who's driving the second Smile Power car.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jonsson's not about at the moment, but we should hopefully see him join between now and the start of the race. But a couple of other different drivers. We have Jordan Weeks joining William Levesque in the Magenta Warriors team, replacing Ben Haxon and Matt Richards for various reasons in that team. Juha Makiyupi is driving for one-on-one, replacing Tommy Oyala. And Jackson Vent on the spotter guide in Experience is being replaced by Arkite Reitz. And I think that's all the driver changes that we have at the moment.
Quite a few new drivers. It will be very interesting to see how they fare in a competitive field. Because we were looking at the times in pre-practice, and we had the top 20 in 1.6 seconds. And on this track, I think we can go now on the track and have a closer look at one of the drivers, so we can.
Yeah, Rasmus Salo I think is coming up to start a lap, so let's see if we can hop on board with him.
He's in the final corner now.
Down the long straight. On this track, nowhere near as long as the straight at Fuji, as he just improves his time. And into this turn 1 kink. Oh, he's just gone into the garage. Andy Breeden in 25th is coming out to start a lap. Let's hopefully see if we can ride on board with him for a lap. Andy, one of the guys who missed Fuji, but back here now for Cosmo Autosports, who also improves his time. Through this turn 1 kink now, into Flexer Class corner. hard on the brakes. That's turn
very
2.
easy to lock up the fronts in this corner.
And very easy. Down the Castrol straight and into Pothole. And onto another quite long straight into the Kelford Camtech corner, which is a second gear hairpin. Could probably be one of the prime overtaking spots for this race. Down through these 2 kinks, and then it's Fulton Hogan, a third gear right-hander. Another left-hander with no name, and the Crown Lift Carousel, which again it's a 180-degree corner, should provide overtaking by the plenty. And then onto another relatively long straight, get up to about 160 kilometers an hour into Jeff's corner, and then Cookram Nissan. Down then the Dunlop straight and into the Rock Sweeper, which is the final corner at this track, and where the pit entry comes off here, as you can see to the right. So hopefully the pit entry will not see as much action as it did in Fuji, but nonetheless it's still very important to this race, as that's 1 lap on board with Andy Breeden, who again improves his time.
Speaking of the pit entry, I think we also have to inform all the spectators of the penalties that have been given at the last round at Fuji. For example, Oscar Hardwick, he got a penalty of 5 points for hitting Alexander van der Woede in the pit lane. There's also been a 5-point penalty against Ole Marius Mervold, a 5-point penalty against Mikko Sorkas, 5-point penalty against Harley Hamlet, who's unfortunately not here today, and the warning for Alexander van der Woede. So quite a few penalties, but not that many on the other hand, for the first round. Could have been more.
Well, we're heading into qualifying in a few seconds, so quickly let's try and run through the order. It's Adrian Holm, who fastest time at the moment, followed by Rasmus Salo, and Jesper Tolborg, 3rd fastest. Then John Monroe, 4th for Airstream. 5th is Eric Strani for Ice Cold. 6th is William Levesque for Magenta Warriors. Then it's Oscar Hardwick for Smile in 7th. Rob Taplin in 8th for Walk, followed by his teammate Lewis Travis. Then Kevin Angwin rounds out the top 10 in the second of the Airstreams. So they're having a much improved pre-practice session from the last event. You had 209 in 11th for Frowmy. Unfortunately, Tim Straub isn't here at the moment, so hopefully he'll show up for the second race, if not for the first. Gary Lennon 12th for Save the Ring, and David Yunt, who is in the PHR car once again after a late withdrawal from Chris Butcher. So Sharkskin's factory team lose their driver to their sister outfit. Allington 14th for Wouters, Anders Nilsson 15th for Optimum, Jordan Weeks 16th on debut at the moment for Magenta Warriors, Brian Walker 17th for Optimum again, Johan Makiyupi in 18th as we switch over to qualifying now.
I think it will be very... I'm sorry, Mike. I think it will be very interesting here today with the qualifying session. We will have a 15-minute qualifying session, which will be followed by a 5-minute warm session. Then we go to the race. And then we have yet another 15-minute qualifying session. Basically the same format, once again, for the second race. And
if we can jump on board with William Levesque, he's the first driver out for Magenta. In 6th place from free practice, Jesper Tolborg is behind him, so 2 of these guys who will be duking out the pole, we reckon. Back on my own screen so I can see what he's doing. Coming now round Crownlift Corner and down towards Jeff's. Very important on the outlap to not overheat your tyres or anything coming into turn 1. Try and keep as much heat in them as possible. Levesque looking for a good run out of this corner onto the long straight to begin his lap. Runs out quite wide there, almost clipping the pit wall. Actually, that's very wide from Levesque. Lights on to warn anyone exiting the pits of his presence, and into the turn 1 kink at 260 kilometers an hour, the fastest speed you get at this track. Through turn 2, using the banking quite nicely. run down Entry King because we see Eric Tveit join the game. So Eric Tveit may be seeing a drive from him for either Ice Cold or another team who have no drive or one driver at the moment. But Levesque through the first sector. It was in the middle of the Kelford Camtech corner, just back there. So sector 1 times may be influenced by the speed to go through that corner, which may help or hinder your sector 2. So don't go fully by what that says. First time you can really get a gauge of where you are is coming out of Cookram Nissan, which is the corner Levesque is coming up to now.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we've just got reports that the broadcast car is causing problems in the pit lane that has been blocking another car, the car of Floria Callan. So I think the broadcast car needs to be switched for this event.
Okay.
And pretty soon we should be able to focus again for qualifying.
Back 19.1, that's a fairly decent time for pole. While we quickly fix this problem, we leave with either the track map or the spotters guide. Let's go with the track map because there's a nice picture of some of the cars behind there. But yeah, sorry about this problem. Tolborg was slotted into provisional pole in the YTF1. Levesque second, John Monroe slots third for Airstream, and Lewis Travis with a good opening lap for Wolk in fourth, with David Yunt. I can find appears to be on any great lap, so
it's very interesting to see the times so far. Jesper Torg on a 1:19 flat, exactly. And that's a very decent time. The fastest time we've seen in pre-practice was a 1:18.7 by Adrian Holm, so he's not that far off 3:10s. But I think Adrian Holm, he's not at the front so far, so he would be one of the guys we have to watch. He's just exiting. Just exited the pits a few seconds ago, though.
There's a few people 2 or 3 tenths up on their time. It's Gary Lennon and Oscar Hardwick. Apologies for the delay. We're having a couple more issues with the broadcast car getting back into the server, but the pictures will come back live as soon as.
There's no changes at the front, but it's good to see someone like Yuya Maki Yupi, who's in his first race, already up to 11th place in the qualifying session so far, on a 1:21.111. Now we see Rasmus Salo jumping into third position on a 1:19.187. That's a good time from him. Still pretty close. Tense between the top 3.
Yep, just watching on board personally with Ryan Walker, who's made a mistake at the moment, so not go to him just yet. See if we can find someone who is up on themselves. Oh, Jesper Tolborg on pole is 2 tenths up on his own time. If he can pull his exact same sector 3, I think this will be the fastest time we've seen around here through the 2 weeks of testing for the YTF1 as he comes out the final turn. And that is a 1:18.750, the fastest lap we've seen this event. So very good from Jesper. Levesque second for Magenta Warriors, not on a lap, nor is Salo. John Monroe is down by a long way himself. Juha Mäki-Jupi, as you just said, Rob, in 15th place currently, is 2.5 tenths up on himself on the run down to the Sector 2 split.
Just made a little mistake there. Got a wheel on the grass. Yeah, and he lost a lot of time, unfortunately.
Right behind him, though, Ryan Walker on this next lap in 16th. He's up on himself and has a tow from Van der Waal, which could assist him, but Ryan Walker pulling back, giving himself
Adrian
some space.
Holm jumps into second place with a 1:19.046. So great time from him, but not quite enough to challenge Jesper Torvik so far.
Yeah, I think that time may be good enough for pole because obviously this is the only times that matter but in the 2 weeks prior, no one has gone that quickly, and only Holm has gone under the 1 minute 19 second barrier, in addition to Jesper.
William Levesque is now really close after the first sector. The first sector line is quite early, and the second sector line is very late on this track. You should cross it now. He's still up on his own time, but almost 2.5 seconds down on Tallborg.
Fourth place, Rasmus Salo, 0.259 up on himself, and only half a tenth down on Jesper Tallborg after sector 1. Going up to the sector 2 split now for a 1-on-1.
Levesque goes into second, by the way.
Salo dead even with Jesper Tallborg after sector 2.
This could be pole. See how he makes it through the final corner. Very aggressive. And sticks to the inside. Rear gets a little bit loose. That was a good final corner, but is it good enough to challenge Jesper Tallborg's pole time? He lost a lot of time there. Only 4th.
Well, he's gonna now know he has the ability in the sectors to put himself right at the front, so he's gonna gear up and have another crack at that in a couple of laps. Damien Patel, 5 seconds up on himself for My Motorsports down in 32nd. He's obviously had a bit of an incident or something on his previous lap. He's followed by Floria Callin in the Cosmo Autosport machine.
I think it's Levesque right behind him who gets held up a bit, but of course these guys are on their laps as well. And if Levesque would be clever if he would just back up a bit here. Back out of it.
Maki Yupi's just improved by another half a second. Now up to 18th. Eric Tveit is 4 tenths up on himself.
Oscar Hartwig has jumped into 5th place. He's now there at the front as well. Still,
very close to Jesper after that first sector, but probably ran out of fuel or something. Fuel in these cars to be as light as possible and as fast as possible. We'll only get maybe 1 or 2 laps out of these guys' fuel strategies.
Let's see if someone can find a pace to challenge Jesper, but especially that final sector looks to be really good.
Well, Jesper's come around to start another lap, but Anders Nilsson right behind him on the road just improves his time by a few tenths and is up to 12th. Eric Strani is up on himself after sector 1 by a tenth. He's currently sitting 7th, and 1/10 of a second improvement will put him into 5th.
I think he lost a bit of time there coming off the corner. Of course, Eric Strane is our championship leader, and he will probably hope for a little bit better than 7th, especially since this is a shorter race, so he has less time to make up positions. Last time he qualified only 4th, but it was still enough for him to win the race. I think this time he needs maybe a little bit more than 7th, though, to challenge for the win. See if he can improve.
Need to remember as well, the last race was 200 kilometers. These are only 90 kilometers. There's less time to have between the start of the race and where you need to be at the end. As Monroe in 6th is up on himself by 0.08 of a second, coming up to the end of sector 2. He's down on himself, but not by much. A good sector 3 will see Monroe improve and possibly jump Hardwick for 5th. And nobody seems to be up on their time other than Calvin Hermse, who looked like he made
improves by 1,000th of a second, but gaining the position.
So close to the top that a couple of thousands matter. Eric Strane, after sector 1, is almost 2 tenths up on himself, but gets held up a little bit there by Jordan Weeks, and Strane abandons that lap.
I think the only one who I just looked through the sector times, and in the final sector, the only one who's really close to Jesper Torg is Adrian Holm, currently in 3rd place, and he's also the only one who's set similar times in the event practice. Oh, and he's way up after the first sector, but now he's going into a bit of traffic. Be interesting to see.
Like he got a bit squirrely. May have lost some time, but I don't think he'll have lost all of those 3 tenths.
Question is, can he get past Atsidakos and Rettes? Atsidakos lets him through, very fair. Let's see if he will come up to Rettes on this lap.
Beck half a
Oh,
tenth
very
up in
sideways.
second, and he's in the final corner now. Don't think this will be enough, even if he does improve by this to jump Jesper Tolbo. He's going to need sector 3.
Holm lost a bit of
Improves,
time, but he should be able to go into second place this time. If he can keep the gap through the last sector. Runs a little bit wide in the final corner. But a nice late apex here. Very smooth in the final sector.
Kevin Angwin in 10th up by
Goes
1/10
into
of a
second
second.
place.
Yep, he does.
That's another time in the 18s. But only 3 minutes left on the clock, so it remains to be seen if someone can find that little bit of pace to beat Jesper.
Levesque is up on himself by almost 10th and is just under a 10th slower than Jesper Tolborg after sector 1. And he's coming up towards the end of sector 2, only 2 more corners after this one, and you can see where he is after sector 2. If you combine the best sectors by everyone, you will get a 1 minute 18.6, so the lap time from Jesper Tolborg very close to the best that he could have gotten. Beck less than a 10th down on Tolborg. In fact, he closed in a little bit through that middle sector. But
I think he lost a lot of time there in the final corner. He went very sideways. And I don't think he will be able to improve. Runs very wide. Nope, doesn't improve. Stays in third place. And I think he will get one more lap in, but he has to hurry up a bit.
2 minutes left
Arlo
in
in
the session.
fourth, but stuck in traffic.
Tom Monroe, a fraction up on himself again after sector 1, but just coming through sector 2. See where he is. He's a little bit down on himself. It's 2:09 and up into 10th for Frammy Racing, doing quite well again. That's Kevin Angwin, who's still in the pits. That's Gary Lennon improving his time again a little bit. Matthew Allington in 15th, 2/10 up on himself after sector 1.
As Monroe jumps into 5th place, goes ahead of Heartbreak. A 1,000th of a second, so it can't get any closer.
Allington's lost his that time, but Tveit is 3/4 of a 10th up on himself, and he improves into 14th for Ice Cold.
You have to remember though, Tveit is 3rd in the championship, and his team is leading in the team standings, so he's a bit further down than where he would like to be.
Yeah.
But Strana also still only in 7th place, so Ice Cold probably don't really have the setup right for this track.
Rob Taplin there goes into 8th position. Oli Moraes Merville 2/10 up on himself, back down 24th after sector 1. George Manusakis is 10th and a half up on himself after sector 1. For Greek Virtual Racing, he's 22nd currently. So that 10th and a half, that'll move him up at least 2 places. Hold it. Jesper Tolborg, 2/10 up on himself in sector 1. That's just eclipsed anything that anyone has done through there. As he's coming up to sector 2 now, passes Floria Kalin, who stays sensibly out of the way, but he's lost that time in the middle sector. So maybe Jesper went in hard at at the sector 1 split and lost a bit of time coming out as he goes into the pits.
Yeah, the people will see this checkered flag now, so they can finish the laps that they're on, but they can't
William
start a
Levesque,
new time lap.
1/10 up on Jesper Tolborg for Magenta. He is coming into now. Where is that on the track? That is the Crown Lift Carousel. He's behind one of the Greek Virtual Racing cars. It's Katsidakos.
I don't think Atsidakos will let him through because he's also on his final lap.
Yeah.
And that's costing
Levesque's
Levesque
still
time.
up.
But of course they're both on the laps and there are no blue flags or anything.
Comes Levesque. Levesque doesn't want to waste any time. He's up on Tolborg. He's up on pole and a bit of contact. That'll lose both of them time. Levesque still may improve though. See what happens, but yeah, Levesque
Yeah, it still improves.
Stays in the same position. Does Atsidakos improve as well? No, he doesn't. George Manusakis is 2/10 up on himself in 22nd in the other Greek Virtual Racing car. Can he improve? If he does, that'll gain him a couple of places. Does he moves into 18th, and I believe the last person to cross the line. Oh, John Monroe is just about to cross the line in 5th, down on his own time though.
So we have our grid here. We've got Jesper Torvok on pole position for YTF1, and I'm not entirely sure, but this might be the first pole position for YTF1 in a qualifying session with no reverse grid in sim racing. So congratulations to these guys. They've definitely signed a really, really quick driver. Second place, Adrian Holm for THR. Third place, William Levesque, the newcomer, back from iRacing for Magenta Warriors. So that's also the best qualifying performance of the new team, Magenta Warriors. Fourth place, Rasmus Salo for 1-on-1. Fourth in the championship, fourth in this session, very good. Fifth place, John Monroe for Aerostream, followed by Oscar Hardwick in sixth. Eric Strane in seventh place for High School, the championship leader. Then the two Warp Racing cars of Rob Taplin in eighth and Lewis Travis in ninth. As UR29 rounds out the top 10, then we got David Jun, the fifth place guy in the championship, in 11th place in the qualifying. Gary Lennon, Kevin Angwin, Anders Nielsen, and 15th newcomer, UR Makiupi. So, Mike, if you can take us through the second half of the grid.
Yep. 16th place, Eric Tveit in the ice cold. Maybe a bit disappointed, but he'll probably attempt to come forward from that position. 17th place, Matthew Allington will be ecstatic that his team has just taken a pole position, although he's driving for Walters. Georgios Manousakis for Greek Virtual Racing, with that last gasp effort to move himself into 18th. Ryan Walker down in 19th, again, quite low qualifying from Ryan Walker. Jonsen Ockerklinth for Smile in 20th. Ole Maris Merville, 21st for Save the Ring, but as we saw at Fuji, he will move his way through the pack like a hot knife through butter. Jordan Weeks on his debut in this series, in 22nd for Magenta Warriors. Van Navarro, 23rd for the Sharkskins factory team. Nick Asidakos in 24th. Sorry, Adrian Holm left the game. It messed my standings up for the Greek Virtual Racing team. Asidakos in 23rd. Dawi Tapper, 24th currently, though standings adjusted. 25th is Andrew Breeden. And it's Riku Sarpia for Missouric. Miko Sukas in the other Vodbull. Archites Reitz. Experience. We've lost Fran Lopez at some point, but yeah, he'll probably be back. Alvin Hermser, 28th for Wouchers. Alexander Vanderwaal, 29th for YTF1. Then it's Floria Kalin in the Cosmo. Damien Patel in the Mar Motorsports ahead of his teammate Rui Martins. And I believe that rounds out our grid. It does. Hopefully the drivers will be using this time to practice their starts and their pit lane and such. And, a few of them maybe doing a quick game restart just to make sure it doesn't freeze on them or anything like that. But yeah, so we know the grid. Rob, think's going to win then? Predict.
I think Jesper Torvok, he definitely has the pace on this track. And he was not really known for being fast in qualifying, and now he's still fast in qualifying, so I'm very impressed, and I'm going to say that he will take his first win.
If he does, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people very happy. I'm going to say William Levesque, simply because spent the last whoever knows how long on iRacing driving G. And although these things are touring cars, they're the closest to GTs you can get while still being touring cars, so he'll be used to the cars and the way they handle.
Yeah, William also has a lot of experience in these particular cars. As does Holm, as does Torvok. But there are also quite a few guys who don't have that amount of experience, who just joined today, just heard today that they have to drive in this event. Like George Manousakis, for example, for Greek Virtual Racing, like Yuri Makiupi, like Jordan Weeks as well. So it's very good to see that these guys qualify within the top 25.
Yeah, I think Andy Breeden, I know, will be impressed with himself. He's doesn't normally drive even on this game, so for him to be putting that car in 24th, he'll be quite happy with that. I
think the people in the ice cold camp won't be so happy because Rana won the race. Tveit was on pole, of course, in the last event. at Fuji, and now he's only 16th, I think, in qualifying. So
Yeah.
that's a bit further down to what he's used to. But of course, this will be interesting because Dwight definitely has the pace on some of the guys who are starting ahead of him, so he will be charging through the field. And Dwight is a really spectacular driver. And there are some curves on this track where you can go a bit on two wheels, or maybe even roll if you hit them in the wrong angle. So that will be really interesting to see how Dwight does.
Yeah, hopefully we won't be seeing any flip overs today, but if we do, then it will be spectacular and worth watching. So hopefully we'll go for an incident-free and clean race. But you never know. This is a relatively tight track, especially considered we were at Fuji last time. That's maybe about 3 times as wide as some of these corners, so it'll be interesting trying to fit more cars through there. Hopefully the drivers will be sensible, and we can get a good race, as we're just about to change sessions into the race now. Wait, and there's still some people out on track.
Yeah, Rasmus Salo has set the best time, the warm-up session, and he's starting 4th, so it'll be interesting to see. Maybe he can move a bit in the race. And I think what will be most interesting is how many people are on a one-stop strategy and how many people will try to drive the whole race without refueling.
Yeah, that will be something very interesting to watch. I've heard drivers saying that they're going to stop. I've heard others saying that they aren't. But the question is really, what will be the winning strategy? Will it come from Jesper Torborg on pole, or will it come from someone a bit further back in the grid?
We got 27 laps ahead of us and a formation lap before, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to this race. Last time at Fuji was really clean in the first corner. There was no accident at all, and that was very remarkable. And I just hope that they can repeat it. So they start their formation lap now. I think what's also worth mentioning is that in this race, for the win, you can gain 25 points, while in the long race, you could get 50 points for the win. So basically, the points are doubled for the longer races. But of course, this time you have 2 chances to win the race. And so if you win both races, you have the 50 points again.
Yep, just noticed, actually, that Dowie Tapper is still in the pit lane. So the Volvo will be starting from the pits.
Qualified 26th, so yep, quite a few cars behind him.
Could be a worthwhile strategy if he thinks that there's going to be some form of incident into turn 1 that he can avoid by
Still
starting
have
from the pits.
35 cars now racing, so that's very, very good. I think that's 2 cars more than in the first race even. So we're very happy to see that. No one's really warming up their tires or their brakes at the moment. Quite interesting to see. We have Lewis Travis warming up his tires a little bit. 9th position. I know he stopped already again.
That's got to be an advantage for Lewis Travis to have Rob Taplin, his teammate, right with him. Maybe they can work together against the guys ahead.
Yeah, but of course they have the championship leader ahead, so that would be really tough game positions. Rob Taplin, he was one of the guys who did a one-stop strategy in the longer race, so we could possibly see a no-stop from him in this race. Not sure what these guys are planning.
Not just from Rob, but from a lot of the drivers that are on the grid.
Yeah.
So.
Now they're coming up to the start-finish straight. We got Torborg in the red and blue car on pole, followed by Holm in the black and red THR in 2nd. Levesque in the white with purple Magenta Warriors car, and then the white and blue one-on-one car of Rasmus Salo in 4th place as they're lining up.
The Mar Motorsports cars just coming around the final turn to round out our grid. Bree Martin's in 35th, moving up into grid slot. Done it, the lights shall begin to come on and then go out.
No lights so far, but we can see Dowie Tapper getting out of the pit, so he will start the race as well from the pit lane. Lights are on. And the lights are out. That was a good start from Torborg, but Levesque had a very, very bad start. Hardwick up to 3rd place already. Now it will be really close into the first corner. Relatively clean so far.
I think one of the Wouters dropping 2 wheels onto the grass, but other than that, everyone threw cleanly.
Very, very, very well behaved, everyone here. Torvok's leading from home, from Hardwick, and Strana already up to 4th place, so he's beginning his charge very early on. And he's got Levesque behind him. Levesque under pressure from Salo in 5th place only. Then we got Monroe, then the walks of Taplin and Travis backs out.
Savite up past Lennon, he's up to 10th already. Ice cold. He's coming forward to try and give Strani some help. Got the 2 walks ahead of him now. But Tolborg's trying just to make a gap as soon as possible. And had some disconnections.
William Levesque is out of the race.
As is David Yunt. They've both disconnected, unfortunately.
That's a shame. Very unfortunate, especially so early on, and Levesque was in a very good position. Of course, this opens up the possibility for the cars behind him, like Salo and Monroe. Eric Strana in 4th place, very, very close to the bumper of Oscar Hartwig's car. Completed the first laps, now into the first corner. He's a little bit too far away to make a move.
Nick Asadakos has spun it in the final corner, and Andy Breeden has a drive-through, but other than that, and the 2 disconnects, everyone's still going fine. Tolborg's built up a 1.3 second lead. I think it's going to be critical that he can gap these guys as quickly as possible, just in case his tyres do go off towards the end of the race. Or indeed, if Jesper pits and Holm and Hardwick don't. So,
Holm seems to be very careful in the opening laps. And you can see that with the train that he's building behind him. Hardwick is very close, Strana's close, and the other cars also not too far away. As Travis goes past his teammate Taplin for 7th place, and Tveit goes through as well. Very opportunistic from Eric Tveit. Let's see if he can make it stick. Oh, Taplin on the outside. Now he has the inside for the next corner. Very clean. I think Tveit's got him now.
Tveit's got the drive. Can Lennon attack into the final turn here? I'm not sure. He's got his nose inside.
Not quite.
Taplin moves across.
2-second gap now from Tolbok to Holm.
Brian Walker's been around. Optimum, he's got going again back in 27th. Yeah, I'm getting reports that that Ryan Walker spun when he tapped the back of Jordan Weeks, so things getting a bit physical.
Calvin Hermsen. There's been a crash at the front, reportedly, between Hardwick and Holm. Let's see if we can get a replay of that.
Hardwick's down to 6th.
Oh, Hardwick braked far too late. Let's see if there was contact behind. No, I'm afraid Oscar Hardwick braked too late and tapped the back of Adrian Holm. Hardwick lost out the most himself, probably.
Yep, Hardwick down to 6th. Okay, it's Reitz battling further back in the pack for 21st with Van der Wild after going sideways through there, through that corner. A little foursome. Matthew Allington made a good start. He's up to 14th. He's right on the limit. I've seen him run wide a couple of corners and the tail washing out. He's really pushing to try and keep up and pass Kevin Angwin.
Meanwhile, Hardwick back into 5th, past Monroe, and Hardwick will now be pushing even harder to make up for his mistake. And of course, Eric Strana, starting 7th, already in 2nd place. Okay, the gap is 3 seconds to Torvok, that's quite a lot. But that was very good, and we're on 3rd lap. So, very impressive from Eric.
As we've lost Calvin Hermsen from the race, I'm trying to see what happened on my own screen. Looks like he just beached it in the gravel trap, which is possible and quite easy to do here.
A lot of battling going on in the top 10 even. Monroe under pressure from Travis, who seems to be really fast in this race. Travis was one of the guys who was quite unlucky in the last event at Fuji. And Monroe actually as well. Monroe and Travis had an accident together on the 2nd lap of the race, which was deemed to be a racing incident. No penalties were given, but these guys surely have more potential, and now they're driving in the top 10, so that's great to see.
Monroe gets a bit of a wiggle on and gets on the grass. But both of these guys have got to keep an eye in their rearview mirror because Eric Tveit is flying up to the back of them. And Tveit has made up 6 places in 3 laps. So I expect we'll see him attacking Monroe and Travis before long. Rani's beginning to catch Tolborg a little bit. As Travis
Oh,
and
Monroe!
Again, Travis and Monroe again off, both of them in the gravel. Now that gravel
That's hard to believe that has happened again. Oh, and Travis tried to dive down the inside and just locked up the fronts, and Monroe had nowhere to go. Just crossed over Monroe, and that's very, very unfortunate.
A very sticky gravel trap as well. Both of them looking like they're going to get out of it, but they're going to be way down, right near the back, as they rejoin right with the battling pair of Damien Patel and Miko Sukas. For a ways back there.
That's very unfortunate, but that also means Tveit is now up to 6th place from starting 16th, and we're on the 4th lap.
Very impressive. But yeah, it seems like at the front everything is, or no one's trying any overtakes or so yet. Everyone's running around.
Yeah. I want to give a shout to our rookies again that just learned today that they will be driving. Johan Makiyupi in 13th place, Jordan Weeks in 14th place, and George Manusakis in 16th place. So that's very impressive.
Sorry to interrupt, Rob, but Lewis Travis is out of the race. He was just braking into the corner, and everyone in front just checked up, and I don't know whether he may have blown an engine or so.
It's possible because when you're stuck in the gravel, you have to rev very high to get out of it, and of course the engine temperatures are rising when you're doing that. So maybe he's blown his engine at that. As you see, in 9th place, you are 2-9, just gone flying over one of the over the grass. Now under big pressure from Anders Nielsen.
Anders Nielsen got himself a 9th place at Fuji after running around just incident free for the entire race. But he has to actually make a move here instead of just playing it safe and letting the others pit and on track, because the race simply isn't long enough to get a good enough result by doing that. Kevin Angwin, who also had a decent result, he's going to try and get on the back of Anders Nielsen as possible, but he's pulling along Allington.
Good performance from Allington as well.
Much improved from Fuji. And Juha Makiyupi as well in 13th before a bit of a gap back to Jordan Weeks. And Olin Maris Mervold already up into the points for Save the Ring. With Georgios Manusakis, another one of the rookies for Greek Virtual Racing, right in behind him.
So no changes at the front. The gap stays relatively consistent at 3 seconds, although Strane just made a little error.
Eric Tveit's closed right up to the back of Oscar Hardwick.
I think Hardwick might have damage at the front after he hit home earlier on.
Yeah, the front end is caved in quite badly. That'll be affecting straight line speed at least. Well, as if he maybe has damage, it could cause understeer. Juha had 209 and Anders Nielsen got quite close to him there. I thought maybe he would go for an overtake, but didn't.
Juha was one of the guys. At Fuji, he was struggling a bit with his tire wear. It was very, very quick. I think he qualified 5th or 6th in the race, and he was running at the front, but then at the end of the stint, he was dropping back. But of course, in these races, you have the chance, to, with the one-stop strategy, to have a very short time on your tires only, so that might benefit. That might be beneficial for your 29. Still running comfortably in the top 10, although Nielsen is quite close.
Certainly it'll benefit anyone who had any tire issues at all from Fuji. Going through turn 1 now, it's just a bit further back. Georgios Manusakis is close enough to have a move on Mirvold, but he doesn't even attempt it. Turn 1.
I think turn 1 is a really bad corner for overtaking. We've just seen it with Travis and Monroe, that it can go wrong so easily. But I'm thinking more in the corner where they're now coming up. Manusakis is not quite close enough, but maybe it's possible to go down the inside here.
Kevin Angwin has missed a sector split, so don't worry about him falling back. Any Kevin Angwin fans that are watching, he's still tucked underneath the rear wing of Anders Nilsson in 11th place. That will be corrected the next time he gets to a sector split. But he does have Matthew Allington all over the rear of that car. And just in front, Anders Nilsson and UI209 in a closing. Anders is not going to be able to sit behind Johan for long, so he's going to have to go on the offensive, otherwise he may get past himself.
By the way, John Monroe, again, he has to charge through the field. He's now in 23rd place, right behind Floria Cullen in the Cosmo car. It'll be interesting to see how long it takes him to be at the front again. Goes around the outside. That was a great move. A bit risky though. Down to 22nd. Gaps are quite big at this part of the field now. But a bit further at the front. Watching Ellington now in 12th place. And he's right behind Kevin Angwin. Right behind Kevin Angwin. That should be close in the next corner.
Yeah, just in front. Oh, Allington.
And Ellington goes. Oh,
he's got his rear brakes. He's tapped Angwin with the back of his car.
Makiupi hits him.
Allington.
Oh, wow.
Allington being a good sport there and waiting for Kevin Angwin to recover. But that's going to benefit Jordan Weeks.
And Mervold.
And also Georgios Manusakis, who's passed Mervold since we've last checked up on him. He's now up to 13th. Is Fran Lopez now out of control trying to avoid them? Van der Vaart is just sitting back with some popcorn, I'd imagine, just waiting.
Whoa, Lopez! To get the opportunity. That was close. That was so close. Almost tapped Ellington's car, and that could have ended very badly. These guys are pushing so hard. That's they were not pushing that hard at Fuji. Of course, it might be because it's a sprint race and you have a second chance in the second race. But that's interesting to see.
Well, and this is the bubble for the points. I mean, at the moment, Mervold is taking the last point, so the three guys behind him all want to get Mervold's position. So that may provoke them to be a little bit more aggressive than if they were, say, just driving around in 11th and 12th, like Jordan Weeks and Juha Mäki-Upi are.
I think.
Oh, Ellington's round.
Oh, that's a shame.
He's kept out the gravel and he's kept it going, but he's going to stay in 18th. Have a quick little look on the replay to see if anything happened.
Yeah, he clipped the back of Mervold.
Yeah.
And Lopez could not avoid him there.
Unfortunately, that one is on Matthew Allington, although we'd never like to see it. A little bit further back, John Monroe. Really catching Nick Hatzidakos in the second Greek virtual racing car. Ways back at the moment. That shouldn't be too long.
If you're wondering what's going on at the front of the field, Jesper Torvog, 4.4 seconds is a gap now to Erik Strane. Very dominant performance, and everyone, we all know Jesper Torvog is good on tires as well, so he seems to be in a very, very comfortable position to win this race.
Yep, Jesper Torvog has in fact put a lap on Alexander van der Waal, his teammate, so that's for anyone who was fooled into thinking that was a YTF 1-1-2 would be mistaken.
We're now on lap 10 out of 27 laps, so it won't be so long until we see the first pit stops. I'm expecting them at lap 12, lap 13. And it will be interesting to see who is actually pitting and if there are any problems in the pit lane.
Well, Nick Hatzidakos has a problem. He's going really slowly back down in 25th. I don't know whether he was letting somebody by, because Ockerklint has also fallen back. Possibly there was contact between those two, but
Hatzidakos has a bit of damage all around his car, at the front and at the left side.
That's probably then Nick Hatzidakos going into Jonathan Ockerklint, or vice versa. Either way, they're now back to 24th and 25th.
And there's an excellent battle ahead between Sokas and Sarpila for 22nd place, with Cullen right ahead of them. Oh, Sokas tries to go around the outside, or maybe just outbraked himself. But now he's got a good run into the next corner. Goes on the outside. That's probably not enough. Battle between the two Finnish drivers. Oh, he can't make it stick here. It's good to see battles all the way throughout the field, even when there are no points gained in these positions. But of course, something might happen ahead of them, and they might benefit.
closest pair on track right now is for 11th place. It's Yuha Makiyuki with Jordan Weeks, both of who driving here but not at Fuji. As Jordan Weeks goes to the inside, that's an overtake.
That's a very good overtake.
That's how you overtake through turn 2, Lewis Travis and John Monroe. But someone off in the background? No, it was some lag, my mistake.
Well, just ahead, in 9th place, Nielsen is putting a lot of pressure on 2.9, and 2.9 seems to struggle a bit on his tires again.
Yep, he's there behind Gary Lennon, who I believe is on a no-stop strategy from talking to him before the race. So,
well,
Gary
I see the first pit crew getting ready, and that's the ice-cold pit crew. That should be interesting to see if someone comes in. Then, Sprunner?
It's going to be
based on the track. So it should be for X-Fight. Let's see if he goes into the pits this time.
Yes. Evidently trying to undercut Oscar Hardwick.
Made a little error on the pit lane entry. That was not really perfect, but he made it into the pits safely. That's good enough. Let's see where he will come out.
Oh, Ryan Walker's been off. Down to 20th now. That's a position gained for John Monroe. John moving his way back up towards the points. John Tanaka and Nick Atsidakos has joined the back of the battle we were looking at earlier between Ricky Sarpia and Miko Sukas. Fight leaves the pits. He's going to still be ahead of John Monroe though.
Now in 18th place. Takes quite long at pit stop here. Monroe will go for it. Oh, of course Dwight has new tires, but they are very cold at this stage, and this was a clean pass from Monroe.
Dwight may also have the lighter car if Monroe is fueled for a no-stop, and Dwight has already pitted and may have refueled. So.
Meanwhile, the leader Jesper Torvik goes into the pits. Runner behind him will also go into the pits. That will be interesting to see.
Rasmus Salo staying out, as is Adrian Holm. And Oscar Hardwick as well stays out for Smile Power. Rob Taplin pits for Walk Racing. Gary Lennon goes round again for Save the Ring. And is Nilsson going round again for Optimum. Having passed Juha Tuonainen at some point.
Salo goes off in the lead. Been on the grass and now Holm is right behind him.
Yeah, bit of contact. Van der Waal in behind them, and then it's Oscar Hardwick.
Really bad timing as well, because on this lap they have to push, because they've still got hot tires and maybe they can jump someone over the pit stops. But of course Rasmus Salo has blown this opportunity now, and Holm as well. Now he got held up a bit by Rasmus Salo. There's someone off. That's Arkais Retis.
Arkais Retis, yeah.
They have few front bumpers.
Yeah, that debris, that is from Nick Atsidakos and Miko Sukas. Possibly one has spun into the other, but that one up to speculation. It's Matthew Allington coming out of the pits. He's down 25th at the moment.
Looks like Torvik has gained a lot of time on Strana after the pit stops. There are like 6 lap cars in between them. Strana is now in 15th place. They're not even lapped the cars, of course. They just haven't done their pit stop. Strana in 15th behind Navarro now.
We're looking for the overtake on Manusakis. Not waiting for Manusakis to pit. Jesper's going for it. But Salo into the pits. Gary Lennon also goes in, so...
Holm and Hardwick staying out. See what this has to mean. Torvik's now entering the start-finish straight, and he will jump Salo, clearly.
Manusakis and Mirvold and Navarro all coming in as well for the Darkskins, Save the Ring, and Greek Virtual Racing Team. Gary Lennon just gets going before Ole Marius gets to his pit stall. Didn't want to have to queue like the Ice Colds did at Fuji.
Salo out of the pits now, but only just ahead of Eric Dwight. He lost a bit of time there. Someone's off in the first corner. Dari Tapper.
Gary Lennon comes out right behind Ryan Walker and Rob Taplin, who were giving each other a bit of a nudge to fight.
Rana past Lopez now, who's always fighting really hard, into 9th place.
Yep. Gonna try and close down Jesper Tolborg, while Jesper has got Juha Makiyuki and Jordan Weeks in front of him. They could potentially slow him down a bit. They have no reason to get out of the way, and they don't have to. they're on their no-stop strategies and Jesper's on a one-stop, then
Meanwhile,
they're
Holm
actually
still
racing him.
not attempting to go into the pits. Stays out. Hardwick stays out. Nielsen in third place now. Go into the pits this time. Tunainen, I'm surprised that Tunainen was out for so
Here he
long.
goes
He's also
into the
going
pits.
into the pits. John Weeks stays out in fifth place,
As
followed by
Maki
Makiyuki. And they've got Torvok right behind them already, and that would be
Angren
interesting
also
to
staying
see.
out. Fran Lopez really overcooked his pit entry, but he's in the pits as well, in 10th for experience.
Torvok now has to get past Makiyuki and Weeks as soon as possible. Because maybe Holm is on a no-stop strategy, and then of course he has to push to catch him. Torvok, oh, a little bit of rubbing with Makiyuki, but he's passed. Now behind Weeks.
Makiyuki looks like he could go back on the attack. But no, he's going to just sit in behind Jesper and wait. Makiyuki and Weeks were having a great battle before this, and hopefully they're on the same strategy so we can see them meet up again later on in the race. A little bit further back,
Oh, Torvok went for the move and almost went spinning there. Now Makiyuki has a look at the inside. Torvok must be sick of watching the rear bumper of Weeks' car, even though it has a logo of his photographs.
Holm and
Company.
Hardwick both go round again.
Torvok really has to make the move now, otherwise he's losing far too much time. Weeks doesn't seem to go into the pits either. Now around the outside, oh, he has a great drive from the corner, of course much fresher tires. And it looks like this time Torvok has made it stick. Past John Weeks.
Weeks looking like he can try and come back at Jesper, but to no avail. Eric Strane in 7th place is just at the fastest lap of the race. We said he needed to push to catch up to Jesper while Jesper was in traffic, and he's doing just that. He's almost caught Kevin Angwin, who in the Airstream, if he's on a no-stop strategy, is doing very well. Also doing very well if he's on a one-stop strategy.
Let's have a
Quite
look
sure
at the gaps now. So Adrian Holm, 19.4 seconds ahead of Jesper Torvok, and right now it looks like Holm will be on a no-stop strategy. So it just remains to be seen how much time will he lose when the tires are warm, and how fast can Jesper push. But Jesper surely lost 3 seconds when he was battling with Weeks, if not more. So that would be really interesting to see. For Strane, I think, even though he just had the fastest lap, now he has the traffic ahead of him, of Angwin, Makiyuki, and Weeks.
Well, he's just cleared Angwin, but still Makiyuki and Weeks battling ahead of him.
That will cost him a lot of time. And then, of course, Torvok was so quick as well in the beginning of the race.
Aalborg just passes their Mikko Sukas, and he has the 2 Mar Motorsports cars in front of him.
Interesting to see that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, obviously Adrian Holm didn't race last time at Fuji, but Oscar Hardwick, he stopped. Well, 3 stopped because of a drive-through. He didn't go as long on his tyres as Jesper did. But this time, Jesper's had the pit stop and Oscar hasn't, so a reversal of strategy between those two as Jesper's finished clearing the back markers. Angwin pits. Slightly awkward time to pit, not really going to benefit, no benefit from that IC, but...
Maybe try the one-stop strategy and just realize his tires are getting too warm.
Going back on right in front of Mervold, that's for 15th currently. A little bit further back, Fran Lopez, his pit stop has jumped Matthew Allington, who's also fallen behind Ivan Navarro.
Meanwhile, Eric Strane in 5th place, stuck in big traffic. Tries to go past Weeks and they make contact. Of course, Weeks gets no blue flag, he's just ahead of him in the race. Now Strane might have made the right move. Weeks crosses over a bit. They make no contact here.
Yep.
Behind the 2 Mar Motorsport cars. These 2 cars should have blue flags.
Patel's moved over already.
Oh, and Strane... that was close. And there's also a car coming out of the pits as well. That was very close, but nothing bad happened there, so...
Just had a message from William Levesque. It wasn't actually a disconnect from him, it was a game crash that he believes is caused by a plugin he was running, so he's disabled that for race 2. into this race now. Yuha Makiyupi.
Oh, there's a big crash in turn 2. Salo in 6 just went through.
It looked like the two Mar Motorsports were involved in that one. So, yeah, Rui Martins, Damon Patel, they're in 26th and 25th right now. But that looked like it involved, yeah, it was Riku Sarpia braking a bit late and hitting Patel. And Mikko Sukas went off on his own free will at the same time, so...
Alright,
yeah,
we got 9 laps to go. S. Oh, for 12th place. Manusakis just went past Ockerklint in the hairpin. Ockerklint not happy with that. It looked like a fairly clean move from Manusakis. We said Manusakis is driving a very, very aggressive race here, and he's just gaining positions all the time. Very impressive for his debut.
Adrian Holmes pulling out a gap on Oscar Hardwick. He's got Ryan Walker a lap down behind him. They're both dropping up to maybe a second and a half per lap, we're being told. And so if they're on their one-stop strategy, their no-stop strategy, my mistake, I
might get close.
Yeah, it'll be very close, certainly between Jesper and Oscar, but I think Adrian may win this race.
I think Jesper Torvik will get up to the back of Oscar Hardwick's car pretty quickly, because Hardwick is struggling from a bit more tire wear than home. But of course then he has to get past Hardwick, and there are definitely easier tasks than that. And this might give Holm the gap that he needs to win this race.
Yeah, well, at the moment, if they keep this same pace, obviously Holm possibly will drop off even more. But if they keep this same pace, then Jesper will not be able to catch Adrian, no matter if Oscar slows him up.
Holm just did a 21.3. Oscar did a 22.4 and almost hits the car that's coming out of the pit lane. And Jesper Torvik will do a 19.8. So there it shows he will catch up to Hardwick pretty quickly. Meanwhile, Salo has caught up to Weeks for 5th place. Weeks also going for a no stop. And Salo tries to make the move into turn 1, backs out of it. Oh, has he? Yeah, here he comes again. Very close, but oh, Salo gets the paw down a bit too early. Of course, he has much fresher tires now, so he should be able to make a move pretty soon.
Well,
much better run through the corner.
Erasmus will need to make the move pretty soon, otherwise he'll come under attack from Eric de Veit soon.
And here he comes. Yeah, clean move, no contact. White already right behind Weeks now.
Yep. Bit of a gap back from de Veit to Rob Taplin, so I think that if Jordan Weeks can on his no stop, he'll finish inside the top 7.
Meanwhile, a good battle in the points for 13th place between Ockerklint and Angwin.
And they've got Mervold right behind him in 15th, Fran Lopez behind him 16th, Ivan Navarro 17th, Allington in 18th, and Monroe 19th, with Yuha Makiyupi not too far off in 20th. So this battle will determine the last, I believe, 3 points positions, unless they can catch up to the group in front, which includes Georgios Manusakis in 12th, as Archites Reitz gets loose in front of him. A couple of laps down for experience.
It's now past Weeks as well. So we'll now try to close the gap to Salo, who's in 5th place. Very strong showing again from Rasmus. That 4th in the first race.
Oh, Jordan Weeks. Bit of contact between right. They're still going though. A little bit further back, something's happened with Manusakis. He's dropped now right to Fran Lopez, and here comes Mervold on the outside, 3 wide. And then a big group behind, including Navarro, Reitz, Monroe, and Allington. So this train is not finished yet.
Angwin in 13th is going for the move now on Ockerklint.
A little bit further back, you see Monroe in the other airstream looking for an overtake.
I think Angwin can make it stick, but Ockerklint might have a good drive around the outside. Yes, he does. Ockerklint stays ahead.
And Oscar Hardwick has made a mistake of being held up by traffic, because Jesper Tolborg has closed the gap now down to just over 2 seconds at the last split.
I think it might be the tires as well.
Yeah, Jesper's will be much fresher than Oscar's, and he may have hit the cliff. A couple of laps to go. So I don't think it's really worth Oscar pitting, but
No, he definitely has to stay out.
Lots of time.
Because I think when he pits now, he will drop behind Lennon and Nielsen. So he cost him a lot of points. But I don't think he really has a chance to defend against Talbot, and he's letting him through there. So Hardwick really struggling, and now it gets really interesting. 10 seconds. Can Jesper Talbot close this gap? If there's someone who can close this sort of gap, it has to be Jesper Talbot.
He has to close in at just over 2 seconds a lap to even catch him at this point. But as with Oscar's tires completely drop off and you lose seconds per lap, so I guess that's what Holm wants to not happen.
Battling in the midfield continues from the 12 on. Oh, there's a big crash. Mervold hits Lopez.
Yep, they both go around.
Big accident.
They both get going again, but really unfortunate for both of them. They're running 14th and 15th before that.
Mervold was coming in far too hot. And there's contact again between Ellington and Mattiupi. Go through on the grass. Whoa!
Contact. 3 years Mervold, 3 years Lopez.
A lot of crazy racing going on there in the midfield.
Monroe almost spins just in front of them on the exit of that corner, but he's in the points. You wouldn't want to lose that. As is Ockerklint, who's now at the head of the train.
Yeah, Ockerklint seems to have very bad tires at this stage. Because he's going very, very sideways. Well, Manusakis has a...
So
whoa, Manusakis tries to go past Angwin, makes contact. That was a bit dodgy from Manusakis, but now Monroe will benefit.
Vandovaro into the points now. Good for the American.
Behind them, Makiyuki and Lopez still going at it.
Makiyuki just gone right the outside.
Oh, what's Makiyuki doing there? That was a bit dirty. Just squeezing Lopez.
Oh, Lopez
they make contact again. These guys really need to calm down. It's not. Oh, and Lopez spins.
Yep, he's not going to be able to hold that one.
Way off the track at the moment.
He's still probably going to be able to rejoin in front of Ryan Walker, but. Yeah,
Monroe tries to go past Ockerklint, and I hear a crashing noise once again. So.
Yeah. 11th place. Has someone missed a sector beam or something? But because this train is entirely moved up a position. Zavandavara's gone off in the Sharkskins factory team.
Oh, that's a shame. He was almost in the points. Monroe now makes the move on Ockerklint.
Makiyupi's there attacking Mervold. And train seems to have separated a little bit.
Well, the gap at the lead, 7.6 seconds, and at this stage it's not really looking that Jesper could challenge Adrian for the win.
Oh, Strani has also passed Oscar Hardwick. That's for 3rd and 4th. Hardwick's tyres have really gone off. Salo isn't too far behind, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to catch Oscar, even at the rate that Oscar's tyres have gone. There's a good 6 seconds in there. But again, though, that's only 2 seconds per lap, so we could see Oscar dropping back even past Eric de Veit. So
yeah,
his race is still not over.
I think Jordan Weeks might have been. I don't know where he is actually at the moment.
He's 23rd, but he's behind Anders Nilsson. So
yeah,
that may be a sector split that it didn't put him back at. As
he's going off. Again. It seemed like he lost a lap also. Very strange. His last lap was a 2:52, so it looks like he just lost an entire lap. So
that's fortunate if it's through a sector. This is Ockerklint's off in turn 1. Turn 2, he's in the gravel. He'd spun it.
Oh, and I think that's very unlikely that he gets out of there. Now in 19th and dropping further back home, now lapping him. Very unfortunate. And now they're battling still for the last point, Makiyupi and Ellington. Points up to 15th place. It's only 1 point that they're fighting for, but they're still trying really, really hard.
Well, they're not. Both of them should really be pushing. Mervold, Manusakis, Angwin.
Meanwhile, at the front, in 5th place, Salo has caught up to Hardwick. He's right at the back of Hardwick already.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah, Hardwick's letting him through, and I think then Dwight will also be able to get past Hardwick pretty soon.
Yeah,
getting closer at the lead as well. Jesper Talbot is catching up more and more, but he might be running out of time.
Still is 2 laps to go at the line, I believe, and the gap is definitely looking less than 4.5 seconds.
I think it's only 1 lap to go. I think we're going into the final lap.
My mistake, it is indeed going into the final lap, but the gap is 3 seconds.
I think we should stay with the leaders now, because Adrian is really struggling on the tires, and it will be 2.3 seconds probably when they cross the line. Torvik will have to try everything. There's a 119.9 from Torvik, a 123.2 from home. A lot slower, but can Torvik get through? I mean, he has only one lap. Probably Home can block him a bit.
Well, he has
So
Holm and
this is the
Brian Walker
battle.
to negotiate as well.
Walker's a lap down, so I don't think Walker will try to unlap himself. Just running very close to Torvik. To Home.
Really slow, and Walker isn't able to get out of the way. He's going to need to move over for Jesper Tolborg soon. But it's going to need to be something right.
And Jesper's running out of time. Now he's right there, but he has to make the move stick. And now Walker's holding him up a bit there. Walker now moves out of the way, very fair. Can he make it stick? We're already in the second sector, and he has to make a move now. Now he has a chance, and I think this might be it. Going. Oh, Home!
Get him around the outside.
Trying.
Get the drive. No,
Oh, they make contact.
Same thing.
Home is struggling so much, and Jesper is through.
He's got the inside.
He makes the move stick in the second to last corner, and I don't think Home has an answer to that.
We're going to get out of this turn, have the run to the line. Jesper Tolborg is going to take YTF1's first win in top step.
And what a win is this!
Yep.
In the second to last corner of the last lap. To his race, Strana in third.
Oh, Dowie Tapper just hit the wall massively, and coming out the final turn, that debris may cause someone to have to avoid it. Is Eric de Veit now going past him in fifth?
Meanwhile, Hardwick in the final corner. Taplin attacks him for 6th place. And Taplin makes a stick. Gains the place in the final corner. Lennon in 8th. Nielsen 9th. 9, Monroe. Still a lot of battling going on in the midfield. And Navarro has passed Ellington for the final point in 15th place.
Not sure that battle's over yet. Ellington's going to be wanting that point. He's worked really hard for it. Navarro, after his unfortunate disconnect on the starting grid at Fuji. Oh no, it wasn't. It was in the warm-up. My mistake. He was having trouble getting back into the server. So both of these guys really want that last point. But looks like Ellington's going to have to settle for nothing. They both pushed so hard coming out that final turn, they clipped the wall. Navarro 15th, Ellington 16th. Mervold is going to be 17th. Jonton Ockerklint behind Mervold on the track did get out of that gravel track, Rob. So that's alright for a small pirate. Fran Lopez 18th is the last lead lap finisher.
Has to be said, what a finish to this race.
They've got much closer.
Oh, so close, and I think without the contact earlier from Hardwick and Holm could have won the race. So very unfortunate for Holm, but he kept the race open until the final lap. It was great to see, and it shows how well different strategies can work in this championship. And you will have the same again.
Yep.
3 minutes of qualifying and then another race.
I wonder if race 2 is going to bring even half the excitement of race 1 did. If it does, then it's going to be an amazing race. But yep, we're now going to have a 5-minute break while the drivers all cool down, get back into their rhythm for qualifying 2. And I think we're going to play you the trailer again for the V8. So back in a minute. apologies for the briefing. We just had something to have a quick word about. Yeah, this gap between the races. Now time for people who left to rejoin. So William Levesque, for example, will be back out on track, trying to avenge his race 1 misfortunes. But yeah, 9/10 of a second was the gap between Holm and Holborg at the end of the race, and the gap between the two strategies. So it'll be interesting to see if people adopt a different strategy for race 2 if it didn't work, or if people stick to what they have practiced. One thing of note, the sign-ups for Top Step, they are back open again for round 3. So if you think that you or your team have what it takes to knock YTF1's Jesper Tolborg and Ice Cold Racing off the top of the Top Step perch, then sign up at www.simracingpro.com, apply for a license there, and then follow the instructions on how to get your team in. And hopefully you guys can be out on the grid for the next round at Manfield, which will be in another 2 weeks, which will go the same format as this with 2 90-kilometer races. So nothing really going on, particularly in the warm-up. There have been a few drivers taking some choice words at each other, so hopefully they'll cut that out before qualifying. But yeah, Flora Callan's on track, who had a relatively quiet race, finished just outside the top 20 in race 1 in the Cosmo Autosport car. He's just gone back to the garage. But yeah, surprise of race 1, I think, probably say Juha Mäki-Jypi. Put into the car at a very last minute, and it brings the car home in 14th, so that's 2 points for one-on-one. Although he would be overshadowed by Rasmus Salo, his teammate.
I thought George Manusakis was also one of these guys who provided a lot of entertainment in the midfield, and is also brand new to the series.
Yep. Apologies, just adjusting my microphone. But yeah, Georgios Manusakis, very impressive for Greek Virtua Racing, in replacing Stavros Mouzadis for the next 2 rounds at least, because of a wheel issue for him.
They're going into qualifying in a few seconds.
Oh, have we done that one wrong? Nope, yep, we've done that wrong. 2 seconds. Bit of admin mess up there. We both advanced a session, so it moved it forward twice. We're now in qualifying. So, who do you think will get pole, Rob, after what we saw in race 1?
Yeah, it's hard to bet against Jesper, but I think the Ice Cold guys, they've driven a very good race. I think Strana set the fastest lap of the race, so I'm going to go with Eric Strana this time.
Okay, I'm going to say Adrian Holm, but until we find out who gets on pole, there's 15 minutes of laps up until then, and Lewis Travis, 36th on the server at the moment for Walk Racing. He's the first car out on track, so he will be setting the first time, followed by Calvin Hermse and the race 1 winner Jesper Tolborg. So,
David Jund getting back on track here. He unfortunately had to disconnect in the first race, which is a shame because he was running very well in the points.
Yeah.
A lot of traffic on this track. It's not very long, and many people went out at the same time. So, for example, around William Levesque, who's only 37th right now in the server, but of course this is because he couldn't finish the first race. He's got so many cars around him, it would be hard to get a clean lap here in the beginning.
Done sensible thing and backing off a bit, but none of those issues for Lewis Travis, who's rounding the final corner now.
Let's follow him for this lap.
Yep. He comes down the straight. He needs to be careful of anyone coming out the pit exit, as there's the Van der Varo and Ryan Walker on queue.
He's currently 36, but he won't stay 36 after his lap.
Yep. Turn 1.
Interesting line here. Stays very far on the left side. I'm not sure if this was intended. Seems to be one of the guys who's pushing rather hard.
Yeah, indeed, he's cleared the traffic. Nobody around him for a while, so this rest of his lap should be clean from Lewis Travis. As he's coming up now towards Fulton Hogan.
Stays away from the curves here. Might be a sensible scene. Nice line here. Doesn't use the full track. Goes into second. We've seen other cars staying in third in this corner.
Onto the short back, well, one of the short straights into Jeff's corner, which we saw a lot of action at, and Quick Ram Nissan, and out of sector 2. Not the fastest first two sectors from Lewis Travis. They're currently being trumped by William Levesque and probably a couple of other people further back on track, but Lewis Travis out the final corner, and he will set the first time and therefore the time to beat, and it's a 1:19.7, which
certainly can go a little bit quicker than that, but it's a decent lap, decent bunker lap.
Yes, but total 1:18.772.
Alright, he's not wasting any time. That's very impressive.
That may well be the pole lap right there, as Beck on a 1:19.2 goes third behind Eric Strani on a 1:19.1. Tulborg, we said he wasn't wasting any time. Now in some traffic, so his next lap will be compromised if he's even going for another lap, but not far off of his own first sector there.
Yeah, but that's all. Like you said, that might already be enough at this time. I haven't really seen anyone else doing that.
I think the only person who can really challenge him is, at the moment, is Adrian Holm. He's the only person that's gone that close in practice, and obviously William Levesque went rather near in qualifying 1, but Levesque's up on Tulborg. Sector 1, about a 10th down on himself there, so if he can match Jesper's times, this will go pole, but Beck has a little bit of traffic in Salo and Van der Waal in front, and he's lost some time on that lap.
Checking through the field if you see someone who's up on the time of Tulborg, but of course that's not very likely. But there's Levesque. Levesque actually is up on his time, but he's stuck behind the teammate of Jesper Tulborg. Oh, he lost a lot of time there. It's very unfortunate.
Adrian Holm is up on his time at the moment. In 5th currently. Sure, he can improve on that. He's 3/10 up on himself, but also 4/10 almost down Jesper Tulborg. Jesper, that lap straight out of the box is awesome, to say the least, and I'm quite confident that will be the pole position, but we have to run through the rest of the session anyway, as Adrian Holm beat Jesper Tulborg's final sector by a few hundredths onto a 19.006. But back 7th place, Rob Taplin is just improved. As he's going through some debris. That's Riku Sarpia off the track, as Taplin doesn't make the next corner because of the debris. Nobody's really improving, everyone's just improved.
Wondering, Rasmus Salo only in 25th at the moment.
In 19th, went out in the final turn. Loses the time though. Rob, you were saying Rasmus Salo?
Only in 25th place so far.
I'd imagine he either had traffic or made a mistake on his lap, but...
Just starting another one. Behind Strana, so not the worst position. And Twite.
And also, I believe that's Juha Tuonainen just in front.
First corner. Rasmus Salo.
Monroe jumping up to 5th for Airstream. Not much of an improvement on that lap, but improved his position. Eric Strane 1/10 up on Jesper Tulborg, after sector 1. Almost 3/10 up on himself, so at the very least this should be an improvement from Strani as he comes around sector 2. Lost
Lost a bit of
2/10
time there. Still might improve his time, but can he jump home? Home's just ahead of him, on track actually.
Gonna need to improve on his own last sector to beat home. And he does. Yes,
Yeah,
Matolbo's up on his own
1:18,
time.
so there's another driver in the 18s.
As Masalo just jumps up to 4th. You were saying, Rob, he improves by over 3 seconds. So that was an indication he either got held up or made a mistake on his previous lap. But one thing I'm noticing is that Jesper Tolborg's first sector is being beaten and his third sector is being beaten. So he's clearly done a really fast sector 2 and he's just sat in the garage at the moment just watching.
Probably he knows that he can't improve on that time, so that's just nothing that he can do better.
Holm's a little bit up on himself in 3rd, but it's less than a 10th. Coming up towards sector 2 now. And he's a 10th up on himself in after sector 2 right now, so this may lead him to jump Eric Strane, who is back in the garage. And Holm,
Still 7 minutes left in the session. A bit of time.
Holm into 3rd. So he stays in 3rd but improves his time. Light jumps up only to 14th though. We saw last time his qualifying wasn't great, he still finished inside the top 6, so...
I thought last time his qualifying performance was so bad because he joined the server so late and wasn't really prepared, but now he has a full race. And he did a very good race as well, and he's still so far down, so I'm a bit surprised.
Kevin Angwin, a 10th and a half up on himself, he's in 15th place currently. Gary Lennon is 3/10 up on himself. David Yunt moves into 9th. Gary Lennon moves into 14th. Brant Lopez has done a good lap. He's in 13th at the moment for experience. Light's 3/10 up on himself and a 10th down on Talborg. After sector 1, he's coming in towards sector 2 now. 7/10 up on himself. 4/10 down on Talborg, but that can still put him in the top 5. Oh, and he's hit the back of Van der Waal in the final turn. Eric Despite, he's had to abandon that lap. Go back to the garage. Obviously damage that needs repairing on that car after it hit that hard. But yeah, so that was quite unfortunate that he encountered a back marker in just the wrong place. But that's how it goes, unfortunately. Through the field, Talborg's up on himself again through sector 1. But he has a ways to go till sector 2, or a couple more corners actually.
But in general,
Just in
we
front
see
of us on the night lap.
very similar results in this qualifying session as in the first session.
Yeah, Talborg loses some time there. Passes Levesque. Eric Strani up on Jesper Talborg after sector 1, but over a 10th down himself. Yep, Ryan Walker leaving the pits. He's getting swamped by people left, right and centre. That's not in the place he'd want to be. One of them's Gary Lennon, another's Calvin Hermse. As Georgios Manousakis improves 19th place. Freak. Having another good showing after a good race 1. Eric Strani, very good middle, first and second sector. He's only 600ths off of Talborg. Around the final turn. Out wide, doesn't quite clip the wall. Improves on his time, but not his position. Loses time to Jesper at 3rd sector.
Yeah, but this second place, it's already a very good position for Strane, because you see in the first race he had to charge the field and gain positions, and now this time he doesn't really have to do that. It's only Jesper ahead of him. That might be interesting. Good to see David Junt in 8th place after his unfortunate first race.
Gary Lennon improves. Now up into 17th for Save the Ring. Devite is back in 18th for Ice Cold. He's really struggling putting a lap together at the moment. He only has 3 minutes and 20 seconds left of this session. Barrow's up on his time. Coming up towards the end of Sector 2. He's 24th currently. And he's 2/10 up on himself. That 2/10 will improve him possibly into the top 20. Going around the final turn now.
Meanwhile,
Getting good exit.
Dowie Tapper is still stuck in the pit lane. I'm not sure what the problem is there. But he was also the guy who missed the start of the first race because he was still in the pit lane. So he might have some problems with his car.
That'll be unfortunate if he does. The very close midfield at the moment. Oh, Levesque is gone out Ryan Walker. Walker, I think, maybe getting in the way a little bit of Levesque when Levesque was pushing for a hot lap. 2 minutes left. He's going to need to get straight back out on track if he wants to even get another lap in. John Monroe, 6th place currently, has come out of Sector 2 sideways, but a 10.5 up on himself. Going to have the slipstream of Ockerclint to give him the run to the line.
Like a bit too late there though, so...
Equals his last sector, it'll put him up ahead of Rasmus Salo, but it doesn't. He lost time going sideways and pushing a bit too hard. Hardwick down in 7th. He's going to start a lap now. I think it's maybe his last, or he may have one more after this, depending on how much fuel he has. Vite's up on Tolborg. Vite has moved into 8th place, but he's gone through Sector 1, and he's 6,000ths up on Jesper Tolborg. Let's see where he is after Sector 2, because Sector 1 splits in the middle of a bend, so he may have just driven in hard. Right, he's got Tolborg in front of him on track to see, to gauge if he's closing in or not. Round Sector 2, Vite's lost a lot of time, but Jesper Tolborg has not lost any time. He's 4,000ths up on himself. And the final turn, very smooth. Good exit. Get a run to the line. Tolborg improves by half a tenth, down to a 118.72, which beats even his own best time from qualifying.
There's less than a minute left as well, so it seems more and more unlikely that someone can challenge Jesper Tolborg here for this pole position.
Strani had both improved their times, but still not cool. Jesper.
It's good to see we have 4 drivers now in the 18th. Tolborg, Strani, Holm and Levesque.
Anders Nilsson back in 14th is the first driver I've seen that's up on his own time by a 10.5, which will move him into 11th possibly. But just in front of him, in fact, Matthew Allington in 12th and Rob Taplin in 11th, only separated by 1,000th of a second. Very close all throughout the field. Anders Nilsson out of the final turn. He's going to get a good run to the line. Will he improve?
Lewis Travis goes into 11th place.
That's going to be it. Everyone's going to finish the lap they're on. Katsadakos is up.
Does not improve.
Virtual Racing way back. Calvin Hermsey improves, but he's right at the back of the grid anyway. Tolborg's decided he's going to get pole and has gone back into the garage. Monroe is up on his time after Sector 1. He's had to deal with Van der Waal in the middle sector, so that may have cost him a bit of time. Otherwise, there's nobody up on their own time out on track at all, except for Johan Makiyupi. He's up by 4,000ths. He's in 16th currently. Can he improve? Or one-on-one after scoring some points in race 1.
Crossing the line now.
Lost time. Gary Lennon improves to 16th, just behind for Save the Ring. Nick Katsadakos improves to 21st for Greek Virtual Racing. And I believe that is everyone except for Anders Nilsson, who's going to get one last lap in. but he's 2 tenths down on himself, so that's the grid.
Yep, so we got Jesper Torborg on pole position. Once again, the winner of the first race, followed by Eric Strane, who should be still the championship leader, if I'm correct. Adrian Holm is in third place for THR, followed by William Levesque for Magenta Warriors in fourth. Fifth place, John Monroe for Aerostream, followed by Rasmus Salo for one-on-one racing. Then Oscar Hartwig in seventh place, might be a little bit disappointed with that. Eric Tveit in eighth, David Jund ninth for THR, and Kevin Angwin in 10th place for Aerostream as Jund just left the server. Hopefully he will get back in time. So then we got Lewis Travis in 11th place, Rob Taplin in 12th, Matthew Ellington in 13th, Anders Nielsen in 14th, and UR29 rounding out the top 15.
And behind him is Gary Lennon for Save the Ring in 16th. Then Juha Mäki-Upi 17th for one-on-one. Jordan Weeks in 18th for the Magenta Warriors. 19th is Fran Lopez for Experience. 20th, again, a slightly disappointing qualifying from Ryan Walker. 21st, Nick Atsidakos. 22nd, Jonathan Offerklint. 23rd, Georgios Manusakis being outqualified by Nick in the Greek Virtual Racing. 24th, Ivan Navarro for Sharkskins. 25th, Ole Marius Mervold for Save the Ring. Riku Sarpia for Missouric. Andy Breeden for Cosmo in 27th, the number 27. Kites Reitz 28th. Lucas 29th. Alexander van der Waald is going to start 30th. Ahead of Floria Kalin 31st in the other Cosmo car. Calvin Hermse. Damien Patel and Dowie Tapper, who didn't set a lap in qualifying, nor did Rui Martins, and as David Junt rejoins. That's the grid.
This should be really exciting in the second race, especially because I could imagine some more people will try the no-stop strategy this time, even though it didn't work. It was very, very close. And yeah, it might be interesting.
Well, you saw in race 1 a brilliant start from Adrian Holm and from Oscar Hardwick, and those guys are starting in roughly the same positions again, so we may see several cars vying for the lead in turn 1. And obviously Eric Tvite's up there again, and he gained something like 6 places on the first lap last race.
Yeah.
So if he does that again, he's going to move himself all the way up to second.
I think what happened in the last race was that Salo and Levesque both didn't get a great start, and they held up some guys at the start as well. And so it was very, very close, but there was no accident in the first corner. It was good to see.
Yep. Hopefully it'll be as clean this time, fingers crossed. A few more people out on track. They're going to be practicing their starts and also their pit entries if they are planning on stopping. As you probably may have seen in the first race, quite a difficult pit entry. It's a sharp left-hander, where if you do it wrong, it could easily block the pit lane. So hopefully everyone will keep going through there safely. Fran Lopez out on track. For Experience, right on board, just to have a little look at someone actually driving around the track. Oscar Hardwick in behind him, practicing a start on the straight.
Lopez in 19th place so far.
Not
We're
too
in the
bad
first
in qualifying.
sector.
I was impressed in qualifying again by Matthew Allington, who was quite high up and very close to the two walk cars. Only 2 thousandths between him and Rob Taplin. So,
Yeah, it seemed to be also in the first race that Ellington is definitely on the pace this round, but he had quite a few offs, quite a few moments, so that meant in the end he didn't take points, just finished 16th. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he will try to get points this time around. He's certainly in a strong position to do so.
I think that Allington as well, he was pushing it a little bit too hard through some of the last race, so if he can calm it down and just wait for things to happen in front of him, he could get potentially a top 10 finish from this position.
Yeah, I think that's what we saw with John Monroe in the end. He was just staying out of trouble. It was very tough fighting in the midfield, and of course Monroe had trouble early on in the race.
some car aerobatics in the pit lane as Fran Lopez goes into second place this session. Behind William Levesque, but ahead of Andy Breeden and Ivan Navarro. Who is that was doing aerobatics? It's one of the Greek virtual cars there, Greek virtual racing cars there with only 3 wheels. So yeah, that's Georgios Manusakis doing a flip, entertaining the crowd.
David Jones left the game again, so there seem to be some bigger issues for the THR driver. So what's going on there? Only 20 seconds left in warm-up, and then we will go into the second race of the Ruapuna event. Of course, we've got another race coming up in 2 weeks at Manfield. Same format as this one. And also, you can still sign up for this championship. The driver, of course, you can look for a seat and contact the teams. Or you can sign up with your teams. Just head over to simracingpro.com and there you will find all the details.
Also coming for round 3 is an update to the car liveries. So maybe seeing some different looking machines out on the grid at Manfield and through the rest of the season.
And if you can't get enough of racing, especially if you can't get enough of this track here, there's a race at Sim Racing Pro with the Touring Car Legends cars that will happen exactly in 1 week on this track. So that might be very exciting as well.
Lost Andy Breeden due to a mismatch through the changeover between qualifying and the race. But here we go.
Don't think Junt is in the server either, so we're 2 cars down.
David Junt also, yeah, started this race. Everybody else, everyone get to the grid, get to the grid. I think that's everyone on the grid this time. Yes, it is. Jesper Tolborg leads
it looks like Jordan Weeks is in the pit lane.
Oh yeah, Jordan Weeks.
What happened there?
For the pit lane.
He was certainly one of the most entertaining drivers in the first race. Not sure why he lost so much time there. Either he skipped the sector point on one of his laps, or he got stuck in the gravel. We couldn't see that. It was a bit unfortunate, and in the end he was out of the points.
Also, he may have pitted as well, which could have lost him some time, but I doubt it would have lost exactly 1 lap. I suspect there was a technical.
I was checking his sectors, and he lost all the time in the middle sector as well. So that was very, very unusual.
Jordan's at the end of the pit lane now, waiting on the start. Adrian Holm not doing the fastest of formation laps, trying to keep his tyres as cool as possible if he's trying to do a no-stop again. But everyone going around fine.
At the end, there's a little bit of a traffic jam.
Gary Lennon starting 15th. He's gained several places in both of the races we've done, and now he's starting in the points. Possibly maybe a top 6 or so finish. Lennon, if he keeps that form up, from 15th position, like behind Uatu Ainen. Anders Nilsson 13th, Wellington 12th. 2 walks of Taplin and Travis, 10th and 11th. Angwin in 9th, good qualifying for Airstream. Devite in 8th for Ice Cold, who will hopefully get a good start and be up there quickly. Same with Oscar Hardwick in 7th for Smile Power. Rasmus Salo for a 1-on-1, one of the slower starters from the last race. Hopefully he can get off the line a little bit quicker this time. John Monroe 5th for Airstream. William Levesque 4th for Magenta Warriors. Adrian Holm 3rd for THR. Eric Strani 2nd for Ice Cold. And lining up on pole, Jesper Tolborg from YTF1.
Tolborg now in his grid slot. Will still take some time until all the 33 cars. Oh, 32 I think, because Weeks of course is in the pit lane.
A couple of burnouts being done at the back of the grid there by Dowie Tapper and Rui Martins. They're getting lined up, and as they are lined up, lights will come on and we'll get ready to go. Rui Martins just about lining up now. If we can
Still
see
waiting for the lights. Nothing changing so far. Lights are going on now, I think. At least I can hear the cars revving up.
There's light 2, 3. Go.
And the race is on. And this time seems like a good start from everyone, but especially from Dwight. Already past Salo. Hardwick's trying to follow through, now it's getting really close. Strane attacking Torvok in the lead, and there's an accident! Monroe has been involved, and Salo.
Yeah, John Monroe's off as well, and Rui Martins got collected in all of that.
Salo made contact with Dwight before.
Holm and Strane are switching positions.
Oh!
The front.
Strane is going for the lead. Torvok stays ahead, but Strane, I think he knows he has to overtake him very early on to have a chance to win this race. Levesque in 4th, Hardwick in 5th, and Lewis Travis already up to 6th place. Good performance from the walk racing.
Allington up to 8th. Good start from the Wouters driver. Makiyupi up to 11th. Good start from him as well. Gary Lennon unfortunately has fallen down to 16th. Atsadakos into the points from, I believe, 20th place on the grid, so good start from all of them. Levesque now going to the inside of Holm into the last corner. Levesque's passed even before the braking zone. Holm going to be able to cut back, or will Hardwick attack Holm? Either way, Jesper Tolborg trying to break away from Eric Strane, who's pulling away a little bit from William Levesque.
Seems like Tolborg is doing a good job again. Survived the attacks from Strane very early on.
Comes Hardwick. Going for the overtake on Holm.
Well, Taplin has passed Angwin right behind from 9th place.
Yes, and Hardwick stays 5th. Holm held him off. But a bit further back in the pack, Ivan Navarro's been involved in some shenanigans.
Well, Travis attacks Hardwick now for 5th place. Travis really trying to get a good result here.
To save the rings are battling. Gary Lennon's lost another position. He's down to 17th and under pressure from Ockaklind. Asadakos has passed Tuanainen, so Nick's on the move, as is Ryan Walker. He's up to 13th. Makiyupi putting Angwin under pressure. That's for the top 10. Everyone seems to be starting to spread out a little bit at the very front. A bit further back. Gloria Callan, 25th, under pressure from Sukas. He's under pressure from Manusakis.
Monroe only in 22nd. Once again, he has to fight through the field.
Oh, more bad luck for Rasmus Salo. There's been contact with him and Jordan Weeks, and Salo has spun it. He's back in 32nd and ahead of Rui Martins, but more bad luck for the Finn. Oh, Hardwick sideways under braking, almost went to the back of Holm. They stay single file.
Koski's to make contact in the first race. Hardwick's very close. He seems to be quicker at this stage of the race than Holm. Going for the move.
Side.
Oh, that's...
Oh, here comes Travis as well.
Yeah.
Travis almost got Holm.
That was a clean move, but also because Holm was giving Hardwick the room that he needed to make this move stick. Hardwick's running wide in many corners. Seems to be also quite quick, and now Holm tries to go for the attack, but he can't make it stick here.
Yeah, I think Hardwick may be a bit faster than Holm at this stage of the race, so he's going to try and push on and catch Levesque. But just a little bit further back in the pack, Kevin Angwin has dropped down to 13th from 10th, so he's made a little mistake probably. But he's under pressure from Atsadakos. And John Monroe already beginning his 3rd recovery drive of the season. He's on the back of Archites Reitz for 20th place, ahead of Sarpia. But Adrian Holm, I think, is having a couple of issues. He's being caught by Lewis Travis instead of staying with Oscar.
Also, Travis is right behind. Oh, and
Travis gives him a nudge. Holm's running wide. Through goes Travis, through goes Tveit, through goes Allington, through goes Taplin.
This is the second time Holm has been hit in this particular corner. I think Travis wants to wait for him, at least he dropped back a lot as well.
Yep. Allington's up into 6th, he'll be really happy with himself. And Holm in 9th, Travis doing the right thing, we assume, of
I'm not sure if he's really waiting for him. Maybe he's just waiting for the right opportunity, or he lost a bit of momentum.
Well, he did lose a place to Tveit. It may have been, Travis may have run wide or so after making contact with Holm, but what's happened has happened.
That's a bit unfortunate for Holm, because that puts him pretty much in the same position as last race.
And a little bit worse, if anything.
Yeah.
Because last race he recovered in 4th, this time he's way down to 9th.
Meanwhile, Matthew Ellington is in 6th place.
If anything, I'd say he's closing in a little bit on Eric Tveit since that little accident with Travis and Holm happened.
Plus, he got the Walk Racing cars battling in behind. Kaplan ahead of Adrian Holm now.
And Makiupi and Nilsson could take advantage if anything happens.
Makiupi is doing a brilliant job once again.
Yeah. Just outside the points, Lennon has just passed Mirvold and is now onto the back of Tuunainen. That'll be a battle for 15th. And some points as we've lost Calvin Hermsey, unfortunately. Quite sure how we've done that, but he's out of the race. Try and see what I can...
Yeah, and Rob Taplin in 8th place. There's a little train forming of Holm, Makiupi and Nielsen as well. I think Holm has to get past Taplin quite quickly, because he should have better pace. Taplin finished very, very high up in the last race. I'm not sure if he finished 5th or 6th, but that was very good. As Travis is now...
7th.
I think Travis got a bad run off the corner, or he's letting Holm pass now.
Angwin's in trouble again, he's losing positions to Asadakos.
Travis has let Adrian Holm through.
Ooh,
a lot of lag.
Like mad. Hopefully he won't cause any issues.
Everyone was very lucky there.
Being stabilizing, hopefully that'll be the end of the lag from Lewis Travis, but now he has to set about passing Adrian Holm again.
Oh, Holm almost hits him.
He's way too late. He's losing places. Through goes Makiupi. Through goes Nilsson. Oh, and Nilsson contact Holm and is down to 11th place now.
Yeah, I think that's all chances for a podium from Adrian Holm are now over.
Unless he can pull off a no stop, and other people do stop.
Yeah, but I think still then he will have no chances, because the guys at the front are running very consistent. Strana can pretty much stay with Tolwa, can keep the gap consistent.
He's already almost 12 seconds behind, actually.
Yeah, that will be very, very tough. Well, Ellington still in 6th place, not even under pressure from the Walk Racing guys. That's a very, very good performance from the Englishman.
Starting to spread out a bit at the front, 1.7 seconds between Tolborg and Strani, as we've lost Florian Kalin, fortunately.
I think what has to be said is that guys like Tolborg, Tveit, Strana, Holm as well, they've got multiple seasons of experience in these cars.
Well,
Makiupi is attacking Travis. And guys like Lewis Travis, Ellington and Hardwick as well, they don't have so much experience in these cars, so it's very good to see these guys fighting for top 10 positions as well. Nielsen goes for the attack on Makiupi, bit of contact there. Oh, Holm tries to capitalize and he goes past Nielsen.
I don't think Ryan Walker has the overspeed to get through, but unfortunately we've just lost Jordan Weeks in Gentle Warriors car. He was running well in race 1. Not quite sure what happened there, but he had a bit of an unfortunate start to race 2, missing the grid cut-off. But hopefully we'll see Jordan back next time. But right now, Jesper Tolborg. The gap.
Oh, Lewis Travis has spun from 8th place, now dropping down the order. Behind the two Optimals now, Atsudakos gets past, he's well in the points this time. Angwin and Lennon get past, still 15, still in the points, but it was a very unfortunate mistake, because he was running so high up.
Oh, Lennon passing Kevin Angwin.
And Holm is right at the back of Makiupi now for 8th place. Coming into the first corner now. Holm's positioning himself on the outside. I'll make the move stick here.
Akiyupi's doing a good job of defending against Adrian Holm thus far.
I mean, Holm, he just lost the lead on the final lap of the last race, so he definitely has the pace. It's Van der Vode that's unfortunately out of this race as well.
And we've heard that Kevin Angwin has got himself beached in the gravel. So that's really unfortunate. He's got himself clear of it now, but he's way back in 23rd.
Also, his engine is smoking because he had to rev very high to get out of the gravel, so it remains to be seen if he can finish the race.
I think he should be able to finish the race because, as we saw last time, Jonten Ocherklint spent about a lap trying to get out of that gravel. So,
slightly increasing the gap now to Eric Strana, but not really much. It's still more or less 1.5 seconds. So, but of course, it would be like in the first race. They would both be on the same strategy, both on one stop. I'm not sure if one of these wants to try the other strategy. And then, of course, in third place, running a very calm race so far, is William Levesque. And we don't even know which strategy he prefers.
I think he's closed in a little bit on Eric Strani on that last lap. But further back, Hardwick is being closed in on White to White. Allington is just running around in 6th.
You got Taplin behind him, it's relatively close.
Taplin started to break away from the group behind a little bit.
Taplin is a very smooth driver as well, so he's not really struggling with tire wear so much.
Akiyupi seems to have pulled a gap on Holm, and Holm being further hindered by Rui Martins, the back marker, allowing the two Optimums to get a bit closer to him.
And Nick Atsidakos in 12th place. That's his best performance of the season so far. The points. Behind him Travis, who had a little accident, but already up to 13th again. Lennon and Tuonainen on the final point. He's a bit further down
he's got
than
a bit
he
of
would
a
like to be.
The
Monroe just goes past Ocherklint. Of course, he has to make up a lot of ground once again, like in every race of the season so far. Salo is out.
Yeah.
That's a big blow for him.
Way back after having 2 spins on the open.
Lennon on Travis for 13th. Lennon passed. Travis seems to be struggling a lot at this stage.
Yeah, he may have a little bit of damage and maybe some overheated tires or brakes. Considering that spin, they may not have cooled down yet. Hopefully they will soon enough to keep hold of his points position.
Well, Taplin has pretty much reeled in Matthew Ellington for 6th place.
Lost Miko Sukas from the race as well, unfortunately.
Definitely the highest attrition rate we had so far this season in this race. I think the person in 5th place is disconnected. That's Eric Tveit.
That's Eric Tveit. He's
can't see him at the moment. He's still in the game.
No, that wasn't a disconnect. That was just a huge lag spike, I think, and it's still going on from Eric Tveit. Dropping down the order, but he's now he's back to normal, I think.
No.
No, he's not.
Shame.
Not really what's happening with Eric, but he's not quite disconnected yet.
I think it's a big danger for the other drivers as well at the moment. Is he back now? I think he's back now.
Yeah, he's back in 5th. Yep.
Yeah.
Eric Tveit in his teleporting car. But he's back behind Hardwick. Allington is going to come under pressure from Taplin, Makiyupi, Holm, and the Optimums very soon. I think 17 laps to go. Should be if anyone's pitting, they should be doing it in the next 3 or 4 laps. Oh, Lewis Travis already in the pits as we've lost Riku Sarpilla for Mazurek. Unfortunately,
I think it's just a proper reaction from Lewis Travis to his tire issues. Of course, now he has to do a little bit longer stint on a new set of tires. Maybe he's going for a 2-stop as well. Would be very fast.
Ocherklint's gone to overtake him. Mirvold's gone in. Mirvold's rolled it 18th. Ole Marius Mirvold.
Not 18th anymore, I think. There goes Tapper, Martins, and Manusakis. So he's lucky that he can still keep going with this car. When you see the roof of his car, it's got some very, very big dents in it. But still has all wheels on his car, so he's still driving.
Through that, Tuonainen didn't lose a place. Auckland's still 16th, and Fran Lopez is right behind him in 17th, just outside
Meanwhile,
the points.
in the top 10, now here are the battles. Taplin versus Anken and Holm versus Makiyupi. Very close.
Taplin's not quite close enough to Allington to have a go through here, and Makiyupi defends against Holm.
I think what Taplin might try to do is
Holm to the inside
go
of
for...
Makiyupi. Makiyupi's locked up, and Holm took advantage, went to the apex. Not through yet.
Oh,
yep,
it's taking Holm much longer than I expected to charge through the field. I think now he has a good chance. Goes down the inside into the hairpin. Yupi breaks really late. Breaks a bit too late. I think that should be at Holm through.
May get a run off the corner for a wider line, but Holm shakes the tail.
I think we might see Taplin in the pits a bit earlier because he's getting held up by Ellington at the moment.
He needs to try and undercut him.
And the Ice Cold crew is getting ready as well. Probably for Twite, like in the first race. Torborg is losing time to Strane at the moment. Only 1.2 seconds. This race, the battle for the win, might get much more exciting than we thought here. Torborg is flashing his lights to no one.
Maybe that's signaling to Strane, I have a problem. Oh no, it wasn't. It was to Kevin Angwin, who's come out of the pits to say, leader coming through, please can you get out of my way?
Twite's in the pits. Taplin's in the pits as well. Yep. Everyone else is staying out.
Makiyupi has Anders Nilsson right behind him. Oh, everyone's staying out back to... Oh no, sorry, that's a bit of lag on my end. Nick Atsidakos does stay out in 10th place ahead of Lennon.
Nilsson goes past Makiyupi.
Auckland's past Dowie Tapper.
Might pit a little bit too late here. Now he's losing time. Meanwhile, the YTF1 car's pit crew is getting ready as well, and Strane is right at the back of Torborg already. So we won't see the no-stop from Torborg. He will go for the same strategy as in the first race. I think William the Vec, he's slowly dropping behind Strane and Torborg at the moment, but I think he might be on the no-stop strategy.
Dropping behind Strane, but he's not dropping behind Torborg. Their split time between Torborg and Levesque has stayed roughly the same. It's fluctuated by a couple of tenths, but
also still gaining on Hardwick, if I'm not mistaken. Hardwick will probably try the no-stop again.
Oh no, Tvite's pitted, that's where he's...
Torborg's in the pits.
Levesque
good entry. No one else stays out. Ellington should come in.
Holm now let's
see where Torborg will come out. The number 2 YTF1 car.
Allington does pit. As does Makiyupi. The two Optimums go round again.
Yeah. Lennon right at the back of Atsidakos behind in 10th place. They're gaining a few positions, of course. While the other cars are in the pits. Torborg gets going again in the pit lane. Let's see where he comes out.
Come out fast. Around. You had 2 and 9.
Yeah, it comes out quite a bit ahead of 2 and 9 actually. In 10th place, so he has a clean track ahead of him. Monroe a bit further ahead.
Vinasakis in the pits, one of the prizes of race 1.
Meanwhile, the Ice Cold pit crew is getting ready again, so Strane might be on the same strategy as Torborg. Now he has to really push on this lap, but he has lap traffic ahead of him in the form of Damon Patel, the Mar Motorsport driver. Goes out of the way. Very far out of the way.
Getting out of people's way this event. Oh, you had 2 and 9 and is out of the race.
Not sure what happened there. Very unfortunate, he was running in the top 10. Well, Strane is into the pits. Hardwick also goes into the pits. Hardwick won't try the no-stop again. The Vec still staying out. Holm is also staying out. Well, Nielsen comes into the pits.
Ryan Walker doesn't. It's probably a good thing, otherwise Ryan Walker would have had to stop and queue behind Anders Nilsson, but Atsidakos is in, as is Lennon.
Let's see where Strane comes out in relation to Jesper Torborg. He's already done his stop, I think. He's now coming to the line and then he can speed up. Torborg will be through though.
Yep.
Yeah, Torborg gained a bit of time on Eric Strane in this pit stop. Gap's now up to 2 seconds.
Hardwick leaving the pits right with Auckland and Tapper. Tapper just about avoids him, but he, I think, has lost a little bit of time to Eric Tvite.
Tvite was pretty close before he had his lag spike and we couldn't really tell where he was. So
wanted to go back to Norway, but then he decided to come back.
He Meanwhile, Adrian Holm is already 14 seconds behind William Levesque, so he lost a lot of time at the beginning of the race. And I think if anyone can, can challenge Torvik now, I think it's more likely that it's Levesque than Strane.
Gotta be Levesque.
Strane is on the same tires and 2.6 seconds now behind Jesper. But Levesque, maybe he can make the no-stop work, and it seems like he's definitely going for it.
By the way, Rob Taplin has jumped Matthew Allington by about a second, but Allington has gained a lot of time on Anders Nilsson, and Lewis Travis pitting early has lost himself time, but Matthew Yuppie is way down to 14th.
Meanwhile, in 8th place, good battle Hardwick on the fresh tires behind Tapper. And Tapper flashes his lights. I think Tapper will come into the pits now.
Yeah, Tapper hasn't pitted yet. And now Hardwick coming up on his teammate for this round, Jonathan Ockerklint.
Of course, Hardwick has Twight right behind him now. There's Walkers in the pits as well.
Be interesting to see where Walker comes out in relation to Anders Nilsson. They were on each other's bumpers when Anders pitted, but it looks like
should jump him because he has done more laps on the fresh tires.
And Nilsson was ahead, but Nilsson's gained a lot of time.
Travis also goes past Walker.
But
that strategy hasn't really worked. Maki Yuppie is coming up now. Maki Yuppie had a slow pit stop, I think.
Yeah, very slow. He's lost lots of time.
Goes past him though. Then Atsidako, still running very solidly. And Monroe, who's probably a bit quicker than everyone around him. Now the big battle's on. Twight on Ockerklint. Oh, Twight spins Ockerklint in 7th place.
Oh,
He hits him again afterwards. That was not very good from Eric Twight. Lost a lot of time as well. Of course, Ockerklint doesn't get any blue flags because he's on the same lap. He just hasn't done his pit stop. And I'm not even sure if Ockerklint wants to do a pit stop. So that was that went very wrong.
We'll see what happens later on, whether Ockerklint does do a pit stop, and if Ockerklint has lost enough time to lose him some places, because I know he was right with Dowie Tapper before Tapper went into the pits. Eric Strani takes the fastest lap of the race with a lap time that would have put him on the front couple of rows in qualifying, as Taman Patel locks up, almost hits the back of Adrian Holm. But Holm didn't like the sight of Atmar Motorsports coming towards him in the rearview mirror in a cloud of smoke.
Holm always seems to have trouble in this corner. He's been hit 2 times. One time he went off on his own. Now almost contact again.
Yep.
Torvik is already pretty close to Holm.
Right behind Atsidakos, who in turn is right behind Ryan Walker, who's just made a small mistake. Here comes Atsidakos. 13th, he's going to try and get Monroe right behind both of them. Monroe goes out to try and pass Atsidakos. Atsidakos defends and attacks at the same time.
That's very clean from these 3 drivers.
Still staying single file. Bit of alliteration.
Seems like Monroe has the quickest car out of these 3, but he can't
Rob
find a gap at the moment.
Right behind Ockerklint. That's for 7th place at the moment. Ockerklint hasn't pitted yet though. He may go into the pits.
Don't think Ockerklint will pit. I think he will try that one-stop strategy.
Quite late.
Yeah, the no-stop strategy, of course.
But Atsidakos defending from Monroe. He's going to try and run around the outside in the final turn.
Meanwhile, Taplin passes Ockerklint. He move, and he's passed.
On the
Atsidakos and Monroe, 2 wide, into the first corner. This could get tricky. Monroe's a bit ahead. Yeah, and Atsidakos... Oh! I thought he backs out of it, but he still tried. Monroe gains the position, but that was excellent racing from these 2. Very, very clean.
Yep. Monroe now will be setting off after Ryan Walker. We saw these 2 battling for a little bit at Fuji.
Atsidakos still in the points, so still a good run from him.
Fran Lopez is behind these guys in the points. He is seconds back. But Gary Lennon's not too far behind him, so maybe that'll be a battle for later on in the race. Matthew Allington now has come under pressure from Anders Nilsson a bit. Nilsson probably the faster of the 2 at the moment, but Allington is really having a good run up in 9th.
Yeah, and I think they will close up to Ockerklin pretty soon as well, because Ockerklin has really worn tires. And not really going that fast at the moment.
Vivek, by the way, pulling away from Andrew and Holmes still. So, even though they're running the same strategy. Vivek looks to be quicker, but they're both losing some time to Tolborg and to Strane. There is 9 laps to go.
It's a very big task for Jesper Tolborg. I don't really see that happening right now, that he wins the race.
It's 21 seconds and a THR between Jesper Tolborg and William Levesque.
And also Strane has gained a bit of time, 1.7 seconds now to Jesper Tolborg. It was 2.7 when they came out of the pit, so
and Strane has cleared the back marker.
Yeah, he might get might have to defend as well, and that will slow him down.
Monroe right on the back of Walker for 13th, and they're both catching Makayupi. So that could turn into a 3-way battle. A lap or so at the rate that it's closing. I think that if John Monroe could get through the first laps without anything going wrong for him, he may be in the contention to get a podium at some point this season, considering the caliber of his recovery drives that he's had to do in every single race up until this point.
Yes, he's always very good with his recovery drive. He doesn't cause other accidents or so. It's very clean, very fast, and just a lot of bad luck at the moment for Monroe. But he's still in the points. Looking where his teammate is, Kevin Angwin.
Angwin's had a lot of trouble this race, so he's
but he's still going, so his engine didn't blow up. That's good.
Jesper Tolborg, the gap to William Levesque, now down to 19 seconds or 19.
Meanwhile, Nielsen and Ellington. Nielsen's passed Ellington into 9th place, and they are right behind Ockerklin. This is close. Nielsen squeezes him onto the grass there.
As Monroe passes Walker, 13th. Allington and Nilsson have passed Rui Martins. They're still going at it. Nilsson's
This is not over yet. Especially when because I think in the lap or so they will be right behind Ockerklin. And then Ellington will have a chance again. Ockerklin won't let them through, he's ahead of them on track. Still staying close in the slipstream.
Tolborg's taking out 1.2 seconds on Levesque per sector at the moment. So
impressive. He's almost right behind Holm already.
Let's
have a look again at Ellington and Nielsen. Now into turn 1. Oh, there's a slight bit of contact, but not too bad. Nielsen stays ahead. Ockerklin just ahead.
A bit of lag on the server currently. This car's flying every which way, but Levesque is going so slowly right now that Olimaris Mirabal has just unlapped himself. So Mirabal's trying to get on and go with his race, but Levesque's holding him up by the looks of it.
Meanwhile, Nielsen and Ellington passed Ockerklin now. Nielsen's into 8th place, and Ellington's still behind him, pushing very hard.
Yep.
I think we need to have a look at the front pretty soon, because Jesper Tolborg is only 1.6 seconds behind Adrian Holm. And there's only 6 laps to go, though. But Levesque has dropped off so much. Might be... and of course his tires are wearing out more and more. So Tolborg might be in a pretty strong position here. But then again, Eric Strane only 1.4 seconds now behind Jesper. So this could be very, very close at the end. Strane gaining again. Strane seems to be... his car seems to be a little bit better at this stage than Tolborg's.
A little bit further back, John Monroe right under the rear wing of Juha Makayupi. That's for 12th and 13th.
Well, I think now it starts for 2nd place. Less than a second. Tolborg is a lot quicker than Holm. Let's see how long it takes him to get past Holm. Because Strane is now right behind him.
Tolborg needs to get past Holm as quickly as possible if Tolborg wants to, break away from Strane. Strane needs to get past Holm also as quickly as possible to stay with Tolborg.
Then there's also Levesque, of course, who will be hoping that they all lose so much time that he can get the win.
well, it's not out of the question. 5 laps to go, so if Levesque loses 3 seconds a lap and doesn't let anyone by, he can still win this race.
Torg might have a chance now already into turn 1. Goes to the left side. I think he should make it stick here.
Unless Holm can drive it back around the outside and get a better exit, but on really worn tyres, I doubt he will.
No, clean move from Torg. And that might be crucial, because Strana now still has to find a way past Adrian Holm.
William Levesque, by the way, has been overtaken by backmarkers. Van Navarro just gets past and is cracking on with his race. So, Levesque really struggling.
Strana now has to make the move into the next corner, I think, if he wants to have a chance against Torg. Because Holm will hold him up so much with the worn tires that he has at the moment.
Oh, here he goes. Strani mounts the curb. Holm almost goes round, but...
Because this won't make Holm let him through even more.
Well, Holmes wanted to keep hold of his podium, and Strani's saying, "Oh, come on, get out of my way, I can still win this race." Because at this point, I think it's between Levesque, Tolborg and Strani for the win.
Yeah.
But Strani may be falling out of it. Yes, but Tolborg
Strani's now going for the move.
Seconds. Sorry,
I think this time he's got him in the final corner.
There he goes.
Levesque seems to have a bit of lag as well, so the gaps are just changing all the time. I'm not really sure what the actual gap is. Should be around 10 seconds, but...
A little bit further back, Monroe under attack from Ryan Walker, but I think that was pretty clean cut as the leaders pass Damon Patel. Through goes Strani, through goes Holm.
Oh, Merville has spun ahead of Levesque, so Levesque just lost a bit of time. Strana is now pushing really hard. He's still only 1.5 seconds behind Torborg, so maybe this was really bad for Strana's race that he lost so much time behind Holm.
Gap's down to 1 second between Strani and Tolborg. But Tolborg didn't close in on Levesque very much that lap.
Hard to tell if he does, because some things, the sector times from Levesque are always changing. Now it's showing me a 43 second lead, which is definitely wrong.
Showing me is 11.1 seconds, but
obviously 8.5. Very hard to tell. But soon it will be easier because then Jesper Torborg will see William Levesque, and then we can see if it's realistic. If Torborg can get another win here, or maybe Levesque gets his first win, or Strana gets the second win after the win at Fuji. Very interesting. Strana's still in the 19th, he's pushing really hard. William Levesque just did a 23, so I think they will come really close to his car.
Well, I think there's the rest of this lap and then 2 more, so they need to really be closing by 4 seconds a lap to give them the rest of a lap to overtake Levesque.
Yeah, but Strana has just done that, so definitely possible.
Battle's still going on further back in the pack. Ockerklint's just fallen behind the 2
Oh, and Makiyuki and Travis for 10th place. That's a very heated battle. There was a bit of contact in the final corner.
Behind there's Ockerklint and Atsadakos for 14th and 15th. They're going side by side already and they're not at the start line. And then in between them there's Monroe and Walker. In between the battles between Makiyuki and Travis.
Lots of close battles. Oh, Atsadakos.
Oh. Almost a
very
brilliant
lucky
cutback.
there.
The lead's now down to, the gap for the lead now down to 5 seconds.
If Jesper Torborg wins the race here, he will also lead the championship, take the championship lead from Eric Strana. And it seems like these two are the the main contenders for the championship so far. Maybe we'll see someone like William Levesque in the next race as getting up there, but of course, they've always scored big points in every race. A 19 again from Strana and only a 24 from Levesque, and now they can see him already. So Jesper Torborg will catch up to William Levesque.
Yep. Rory Martin's is going to get out of the way of Tolborg and Strana. He's way off on the grass. On
in 5th
right.
place, Oscar Hartwig. It's a very, very calm race.
Tvite's being caught by Taplin. Don't know if Tvite's having issues or what, but Taplin's catching him quite fast. Monroe's catching Travis. Makiyuki's breaking away a little bit, and if anything, the slipstream of Archives rates might help him a little bit. But
meanwhile, the gap is down to 2 seconds between Levesque and Torborg. Torborg is closing in so much, and it's the second to last lap that they're on. It seems like a repeat of the first race. Because Jesper's so close, and I honestly can't see how William could defend keep his position here.
Well, Holm has done the same amount of laps on his tyres that Levesque has, and Holm is catching Levesque after being in a fight the entire race. Levesque's been driving around. It just shows the impact that the tyres have been having. But Tolborg's right behind him. Levesque has
Tries to
one
go
lap
around the outside
to try
here.
and defend. If Levesque
He gets
holds up
such a
Tolborg
good
enough,
run.
Strani will be right there. Levesque's
Yeah, but
already going defensive.
I think he's got them already. Because Torvald's guy has a better top speed.
Yeah, Levesque does have the inside though, so Levesque's...
Yeah, but Torvald is so far ahead.
Through
Unless
he
he makes
goes.
a mistake, he's through, yeah. And he's gained the position again on the final lap. And now Strana will try to follow him as soon as possible. And it seems like he's doing so right now. Because he can brake much later for this corner. Oh, very close, Strana's through. But the gap is 1 second to Torvald. If Torvald makes a mistake, Strana is there. But I don't think otherwise he can win the race.
People are changing places left, right and centre in the 11th to 15th battle, but the lead is only 1 second, and I think Strana...
0.8 now. Strana's very close, but of course he also has to pass him as well. I doubt he will be able to do that.
Not in the last half a lap or so that remains. But, you know, one mistake from Jesper Tolborg and that may be it. I believe
0.7, but I think he's running out of time.
Lewis Travis, unfortunately, out of the race and out of the points on the last lap.
I think Jesper Tolborg's got this now. Into the final corner.
Yep. The run out. Hopefully don't do what Dow Tapper did in race 1 and slam that wall and lose a wheel. Neither of them do. And across the line, Jesper Tolborg wins, Eric Strani second, Levesque almost spins it in the last turn, his tyres are gone, Adrian Holm not quite close enough to take advantage, and Oscar Hardwick's right behind them in 5th.
Meanwhile, Tveit and Taplin for 6th place, that's very close.
Oh, Tveit's running wide, Taplin's going to get his nose up the inside.
He passed someone on the final lap in the last race already, but Tveit's got a better run out of the corner, so Tveit will take 6th place, Taplin in the 7th.
Just. Nilsson alone in 8th, Allington alone in 9th, Makayupi in 10th, Munro and Walker side by side, still Optimum versus Airstream. Walker's going to be on the inside, can Munro get a better drive out? I don't think he can, not from that position. Nick Atsadakos is going to finish 13th behind, Walker 11th, Munro 12th, Atsadakos 13th, Gary Lennon up into the points again for Save the Ring in 14th. Ahead of Jonathan Opperklint, who rounds out the point scorers in 15th for Smile Power Racing. Georgios Manasakis is going to finish 16th ahead of Fran Lopez, Dowie Tapper and Kevin Angwin, who are all very close together behind. That's back to 19th, and Ivan Navarro is going to round out the finishers on the lead lap.
Then we got Lewis Travis in 21st. He didn't finish the race, unfortunately. Arkais Retis in 22nd for Experience GP. Then Damien Patel, 23rd, and his teammate Rui Martins in 24th. And then Mervold, who also didn't finish the race, in 25th. Oh, what a race! This was very close again, right until the end. But Jesper Tolborg taking maximum points from this event.
Indeed. That's going to have moved him into the lead of the championship, ahead of Eric Strani at this point, and I don't have a clue what's going to do to the team's championship. With Tveit getting a couple of 6th places for Icegold.
I think Icegold will be still leading comfortably, because Tolborg, of course, drove for YTF1 in this event and not for THR. Yeah. And THR only had 1 car in both races.
And they had David Yunt in the first race, but unfortunately David couldn't make it into race 2. I'm going to try and round up a few drivers for some interviews.
And we should be joined by the drivers pretty soon.
We have William Levesque. Will, are you here?
Yeah.
Unfortunate about race 1. Could you enlighten us onto what happened?
Yeah, it was a disconnection. Basically, I got on the grid and couldn't see the lights. I had that TPS in WTMS 3. So I had a slow start, and alpha lap later I disconnected. I'm pretty sure it was because I had Amashi running. It was off, but still running in the background, and that probably caused the disconnection because of the added well, connection, I suppose. Race 2 though, I fixed that, so it worked fine. Decided to no stop, even though Jesper was clearly quicker one stopping, but in the end I expected to finish third as the race unfolded, and that's where I finished, so I'm happy with that.
Alright, congratulations on that result. We will be seeing you again the next round, won't we?
I think so, yeah. This time with Inex logos on the car. I don't think anyone from my team will actually join because they're not very experienced with R Factor, but yeah, normally I should drive for Oscar again.
Alright, well, congratulations, and we'll see you next time then.
Right, thanks.
Alright, so I've got the next driver here, and that is Mr. Adrian Holm. So, how close was that in the first race, Adrian?
Close to a puncture. Yeah. Unfortunate incident on a third or fourth lap or something cost me a win there, but you know, stuff like this happened and you just gotta move on, really. Second race was pretty much a copy of the first one. Got unloaded into the hairpin, and yeah, that was very costly since I had to battle through traffic from then on, and that's never good for your tire wear you're not stopping for tires, obviously.
Still, I mean, you still did a pretty good job on your first race here in SRP Top Step. Scored a podium, scored a second place, of course, in the first race, and we'll see you back.
Yeah, I plan to do the sprint rounds at Sandown and Oran Park, so yeah, hopefully we'll be able to score a seat in a team then, and yeah, have a few good races.
Alright, thanks a lot, Adrian.
Thank you.
And I think Mike has Eric's drama.
Yep, Eric. Race 2. You seem like the faster of you and Jesper. Did you think that you could catch him in the last couple of laps?
It went up and down. I mean, he was, I wouldn't say lucky, but he had, he managed to catch Adrian and William at the right time, and I didn't. I caught Adrian coming into sector 2, and I lost a second there, and that second in the end would have been I would have needed that, so to say. And he gained another second because he pulled in into the pits a lap before me, so I don't know. It sucks to finish second, but I guess it's not that bad in the end.
Yeah. Fortunately, you've lost your championship lead due to our quick maths to Jesper Tolborg. Do you think you can get it back in the coming rounds?
Well, it depends if he decides how he does with strategy and stuff. I mean, I think we were matched pace, sorry, more or less. But then, on the other hand, there's still a bit of a difference in. I mean, he can keep his tires under him way better than I can. I think I was just driving like mad in the second race just to try and keep up, and it worked. But the last just 2 laps were very slippery. So yeah, I don't know, maybe.
All right. Well, best of luck in the next rounds, and yeah, congratulations on the results today.
Thanks.
I think Rob now has Jesper Tolborg, who won both the races today and inherited the championship lead.
Yeah, I hope so. Jesper, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
So, 2 poles, 2 wins, the championship lead. That couldn't have gone better, right?
No, not really. Well, I could have fastest lap, but that doesn't really change anything. I'm pretty happy.
So, you drove this round for YTF1. And you definitely scored the best result that team has seen so far. So how did that happen?
Well, RGF F1 needed a driver, and the team manager just came to me and asked if I want to drive, and then he gave me a pretty good setup, I think, and then I just drove flat out.
And of course you're leading the championship now, and you've got a pretty strong chance to fight for the championship title. So will we see you back for the rest of the season?
Well, it sort of depends if any team needs to fill a reserve. So we'll see.
All right. Well, congratulations, Jesper. And I
Cheers.
think Mike got the next driver.
Yep, I've got Eric Tveit here. Eric, we saw pre-race that there was some changing around in the ice cold lineup. Did you come into qualifying one fully prepared to race today?
Not really, no. I mean, I downloaded the track 2 minutes before qualifying. Because earlier today, I thought I was going to make the race, so I was like getting back home from the cottage and going to be ready to download the track. But once I got back, I suddenly realized, oh, I can't make the race. And then 20 minutes before qualifying, I was like, oh, I can make the race. And yeah, not really what I planned.
So yeah, given that lack of practice, do you think that, or are you happy with your results?
I'm very happy with what I managed to do in race 1, considering I started 16th and managed to finish top 5. What I'm not that happy about is race 2. It was just a bit messy and I couldn't find rhythm to get into. And even though I started 7th or so, I just really didn't gain anything on someone, and yeah. Overall, I'm happy, to be fair, because I did no practice and I managed to do somewhat well.
Alright, well, good stuff. Good job on the good results, and see you next event.
Yeah.
I think Rob now has Oscar Hardwick.
Yes, Oscar. You are one of the guys who tried both strategies, both possible strategies in the races. So what do you think? Which one worked better?
I think you can't say that anything other than the one stop, really. I know that Adrian and Will really did make it work better than most, but they still didn't win either of the races. And granted, I think in race 1 with Adrian, that was partly my fault. Had a bit of a screen freeze and tapped him off the track, and that race Adrian really should have won. But I think, Jesper just had the one-stop strategy down, as did Stranny. Myself, a bit off the pace today, was struggling with the track and the car, but yeah, all in all right. Should have done one-stops in both races, and I could have come out with 2 top 5s and not just the one.
Alright, well, anyway, pretty decent performance, got some valuable points this time. Congratulations for that, and I think Mike has got the next driver.
Yeah, I do. I'm just actually looking for them in the paddock right now.
I think John Monroe is ready for an interview.
Yeah, I have John Monroe here. John, similar thing to Fuji, you were knocked back quite early in both races. Do you think that you're going to become the master of recovery drives come the end of the season?
No, I mean, it's just a bit unfortunate, to be honest. I think both instances, it was really, it was nobody's fault. It was just maybe a bit of driving error or just a bit of a mistake, and it ended up costing me big time. And it was just bad luck more than anything. But I have to say, I'm having a blast trying to get through all these cars each race, and it's tiring but great fun.
Alright, well, good stuff. Hopefully we won't have to see another recovery drive from you at the next event, because hopefully you won't end up in a crash on the first couple of laps.
Yeah, we will see. Let's hope not. Maybe try and take it a bit more easy at the start, and need to just once capitalise on the qualifying position. But I'm not too disappointed. It was great fun battling through, and everyone raced me cleanly and fairly. So yeah, great fun.
Alright, good stuff. Well, see you next time.
Thank you very much.
I think Rob now has Oscar Hardwick's teammate for the event, Jonathan Ockerklint.
Yeah, Jonathan. Just before the race, it looked like you would drive for Optimum in this event, and then in the end you switched to Smile Power Racing. So how did that happen?
It happened as such that Mike asked if Ryan could drive for Smile for this round, but me and Ryan had a bit of a small discussion, and we came to the conclusion that I should switch instead. It worked out well, I think.
Alright, you scored some points on your debut, of course, this championship. So yeah, how was the race for you? How was this championship for you in general?
Race 1 was a bit of a incident-filled race for me. A lot of small mistakes and a bit off the track and such, but
stuff happens that you don't want. Race 2, I drove a bit more carefully at the beginning, trying to save the tires for the end, and it worked a lot better. But unfortunately, a couple of over-aggressive moves by others heated up the tires, and I made a mistake on my own. But overall, it was good fun.
All right. Yeah, thanks a lot, and hopefully we'll see you again in this championship.
Thank you.
And now Mike has got Ryan Walker.
Yep, Ryan. Good races from you today. You seem to be locked in battle with John Monroe everywhere you go. Would you give us your thoughts on that?
That was an awesome battle. Probably one of the best battles I've had with John in sim racing. It was nice and clean. There was a few rubbing moments, but that's part of it, touring car racing. But overall, I enjoyed that, and I'm looking forward to racing in the next rounds of the championship.
Alright, cool. Hopefully we'll see you a little bit further towards the front, especially in qualifying the next couple of rounds, so we'll see you then.
Thank you very much.
I believe Rob now has Anders Nielsen.
Yeah, and he will be our final person that we interview. So Anders Nielsen, you have a very strong showing once again, scored lots of points. Seem to be one of the most consistent guys in this championship, so how were the races for you?
Yeah, I'm not the fastest one out there, so I have to be consistent. So I went pretty good. I'm happy with today actually, and I promised myself a beer if I brought home 2 top 10s, and I did. So I'm having a beer right now.
So what do you expect for the rest of this championship? A few more beers, a few more top 10s?
That would be nice. Oh, it's very intense out there. It's if I can continue the way I'm doing now, I'm gonna be really pleased with myself actually.
All right. Well, congratulations for your
Thank you.
event. And I think that's it. These were the drivers, and I just want to remind everyone: if you're a team manager, you can still sign up for this championship. Head over to simracingpro.com and read through the details, and yeah, you can get your team onto the grid for the next round, which is in 2 weeks at Manfield. And also, of course, when you're a driver who's interested, you can also head over to the SRP forums and post in the team matchmaking, and maybe some team wants to take you on, and you can race in the next round. So, that's it. My name is Robert Wiesemüller. I was joined today by Mike Bell and Lewis McLeod on cameras. And yeah, see you next time.